Chapter 1284. It's actually Senior Ilian. She's the head examiner, the pressure is too great. This lass is the disciple of an old friend of mine. I didn't expect her to become one of the elders of the Dan region's Elder Council. Some of the older generation alchemists sighed with fear. This Song Ilian was a saint-level alchemist, ranked 6th grade. Furthermore, she had created 3 unique alchemy techniques and books, creating many precedents that had never been seen before in alchemy. It could be said that many of the young people in the Dan domain were still using her experience and skills in alchemy. It was said that her chances of advancing to 7th grade were limitless. She was the most legendary woman in the Dan region in recent times. Extreme geniuses always had to pay a price. This Song Ilian was untainted by power, untainted by worldly affairs, and even more unfeeling. She had never had feelings for a man and woman. In her eyes, there was only the path of alchemy. At this time, Song Ilian, who was wearing a flowing cloud dress, slowly opened her mouth. Her voice was clear and indifferent. This alchemy will last for 30 days. During this period, if there are any failures in any part of the alchemy, you will be eliminated immediately. Alchemy is perfect and sacred. To create a perfect alchemy, no failures are allowed. When these words came out, the 391 saint-level alchemists had different expressions. It was very interesting. No failure in any part of the process was allowed. This pressure multiplied in an instant. This woman is challenging me. Lin Shui rubbed his chin. This was the first time he felt troubled. His ultimate alchemy method was not complete yet. Failure was unavoidable. When these words came out, the one who felt the most pressure was probably Lin Chen. Forget it, the front row is useless. Instead of choosing the most conservative way to fight, it's better to choose the one with the highest probability of success. If I want to win now, I can only surpass that level. Lin Chen's gaze became sharp and piercing. The final result of this competition will be decided by me. In addition to the 10 elders, if 8 of the 10 elders' opinions are different from mine, the final result will be changed to the elders' final decision. Song Ilian waved her hand. Everyone is clear about the rules. Quality is paramount, failure is not allowed. I won't say anything else. This year's Heavenly Selection Convention officially begins. Clang, clang, clang. As soon as he finished speaking, the pill cauldrons fell to the ground. The various pill refinement hand seals were brilliant and varied, and the phenomenon of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning bloomed one after another like 100 schools of thought contending. There was Shangguan Liuli who refined pills alone with a fox, Qi Mei Er who had an orange rank handprint, Fei Xiaoyu who refined pills without a furnace, and a demon who bit the tip of his tongue and used his blood to refine pills. There were some monstrous geniuses who were drowsy, and they were actually forming hand seals to concoct pills in their sleep, concocting pills with their eyes closed. Some even took out part of their Providence plant pouches and used the power of the Providence plant pouches to refine medicinal herbs. When the people below Sky-bearing Island saw this, they cheered and discussed fervently. It was as if a pot had exploded. Suddenly, a dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens. Many experts looked over in surprise. Long Yijing, who was on the north side of the White Jade Square, was forming an alchemy hand seal. Countless thunder flood dragons and thunder dragons roamed around him. The saint acupoints all over his body released the power of thunder and lightning, causing a thundercloud to descend. Lightning bolts continuously struck down and entered his cauldron. Orange tear pill refining hand seal, thunder dragon sacrificial seal. The Long family's secret technique was domineering and powerful. This kid's arrogance is not without reason. Only someone with sufficient skill and confidence in their own alchemy skills can have such boldness. I have to say that between him and Lin Chen, I am indeed more optimistic about this kid, Long Yijing. This Long Yijing is suitable to be my disciple. Let's see if he is interested after the competition. The 2 Elixir region elders stroked their beards and smiled. They were very optimistic about Long I Jing. Rumble! A loud boom rang out, and an old man with fiery hair and red eyebrows appeared. He sat cross-legged in midair and formed an alchemy hand seal with both hands. Waves of dense spiritual power controlled the fire elemental energy and refined thousands of medicinal herbs from within the volcano. This is Thousand Regions' old man Hua, right? This old fellow's orange tear pill refining hand seal is even better than before. He moved 3 scarlet flame mountains into his Providence plant pouch and opened up a portion of the Providence plant pouch. He used the energy of the scarlet flame mountains to refine pills. He is really wild. This old fellow has to at least enter the top 10 this time. Maybe even higher. The elders on both sides of Sky Bearing Island stroked their beards and nodded. Their eyes were full of praise. This group of elders included the hunchbacked old man who had participated in the last round of assessment. Whoosh! Another branch of a towering tree appeared. Flowers bloomed in the sky, and pink cherry blossoms filled the sky. As the cherry blossoms bloomed, the faint sound of a phoenix reverberated. A few peach branches swayed, and star-like spiritual power poured into the alchemy cauldron. As the flowers bloomed in the sky, a cold and beautiful woman stood at the tip of the cherry branches. She looked elegant and proud. The beautiful woman's jade-like fingers left afterimages as she smoothly formed the alchemy hand seals. She used the power of the cherry branches to refine the medicinal herbs in the alchemy cauldron. At this scene, every expert from every force present had a serious expression on their faces. This was the branch of a mid-grade spirit plant, the true phoenix cherry tree. She had monopolized a mid-grade spirit plant of Providence. Her foundation was a little too terrifying. What surprised the elders even more was that this woman could actually control the spirit plant of Providence to refine pills. This woman is Zi Yunqing? So powerful. She can actually control a mid-grade spirit plant of Providence to refine pills? I've never seen or heard of such methods. Even Song Ilian looked over in surprise. She clearly did not expect such a person to exist in the younger generation. Yes, she fully utilized the advantages of her bloodline and the power of nature. The two can even combine perfectly. This woman is a moldable talent. Perhaps we can apply for a spot for her. Even if she doesn't win, she can enter the Elder Council in advance. Song Ilian nodded slightly as if she had seen through Zi Yunqing's deeper secrets. However, the next moment, even Song Ilian was moved. She suddenly locked onto a young man. This person's face was so pale that he looked like he would faint at any moment. His 10 fingers danced wildly like flying flowers. Spiritual power condensed at the tip of each finger like wheat maintaining thousands of spiritual power ribbons. The strange thing was that there were actually 3 dragon corpses in front of him. He had put all the medicinal herbs, regardless of whether they were grade 7 or grade 8, into the dragon corpses. The 3 dragon corpses seemed to have been reborn. They opened their dragon eyes strangely, and the dragon aura of old age swept through the entire area. Everyone was shocked. There was actually such a pill refining method in this world? Using corpses to refine pills? Who exactly is he? Why does his spiritual power give me a very strange feeling? Song Ilian's brows were tightly knitted, and her pretty face was serious. A certain Lin Chuan was in awe. It was too showy. Everyone was so strong. How was he going to survive? Lin Chen looked up at the sky and sighed. 9 out of 10 pills refined into 8 different patterns, 7 different hand seals and 6 different postures. Moreover, the 5 elements cauldron did not contain any medicinal ingredient. Only I, Lin Chen, who was half-hearted and handsome. Horizontal scroll. What am I doing? Chapter 1285. Above Sky Bearing Island, strange phenomena appeared and stirred the 9 heavens. Below Sky Bearing City, some of the young prodigies of alchemy were dumbfounded. They had never seen such a scene before. No less than 15 orange-grade alchemy hand seals had appeared at the same time. Many of the young prodigies of alchemy had never seen or heard of such a scene. Even the pill domain, which had many alchemists, had never seen such a scene before. However, what shocked them even more was that the alchemy methods of the seated contestants were eye-opening. Using spirit plants of fortune to refine pills, using dragon corpses to refine pills, borrowing the power of heaven and earth to refine pills, there was everything. As expected of the Heaven's Choice Conference, there is always a historical moment of alchemy. Alchemy that surpasses common sense, as expected of my goddess. Using spirit plants of fortune to refine pills, no one in the world can match her. Below sky-bearing city, it was a scene of excitement. Pairs of excited eyes stared at the scenes projected by the thousands of light screens, causing people's heartstrings to tighten. The opening attracted countless people. Inside the island, on both sides of the white jade square. Using dragon corpses to refine pills may be the best way to absorb dragon energy. However, just this idea is a bit ridiculous. If only the flesh and blood of the dragon is kept, then it's just the appearance and not the essence. But if the complete dragon corpse is kept and the dragon's aura is pure, it is as difficult as ascending to the heavens to control mental energy from the dragon corpse to refine pills. It's like cooking a dish in a pot of boiling oil. How is it possible to prepare all the ingredients of the dish in the pot of boiling oil? The experts who were watching from the walls were filled with confusion and shock. Such strange mental energy, who is this person? A candidate for the monster genius ranking, Dongfang Wuji of a rank 6 family? His life force is very weak, but it gives this old man a deep mental wariness. This is not mental energy that a person of his age should have. The elder group all stood up, feeling that something was wrong. Their expressions were grave. "Don't move," the hunchbacked old man said. "Sit down, don't let outsiders see you as a joke." From the looks of the rules, this person did not break the rules at all. If you rashly interfere, do you want the world to see our pill domain as a joke? The hunchbacked old man's words were sharp, and the powerful elders immediately fell into hesitation. "Looks like there are a lot of variables in this year's Heaven's Choice Assembly." The hunchbacked old man looked at several figures, and finally, his gaze landed on Lin Chun, who was in the corner. "Little guy, what kind of surprise can you bring us? There are many experts this time. However, I, Long Yi Jing, will definitely be ranked at the top of the younger generation. Let that bastard Lin Chun know who is the one who is more worthy of Qinggu." The dragon ritual crystal that was surrounded by lightning dragons formed a hand seal, and a crystal-clear jade stone appeared in the palm of his hand. It was surrounded by thunder and lightning, and as it shuttled back and forth, it was thrown towards the sky. Tsk. Boom. The thunderclouds in the sky exploded, and a 10,000-foot-long ball of lightning surged out from the thundercloud. Lightning flickered like a slowly rising new moon, releasing the extreme power of lightning. Endless power of lightning gathered like the wind and clouds. Long Yi Jing's palm clung to the alchemy furnace, and his hand seals became slower and slower. However, every time he formed a hand seal, the power of the lightning crystal core could be perfectly integrated into the ingredients in the alchemy furnace, and his lightning elemental saint power continued to surge. It's the lightning crystal core. Long Yi Jing actually used this trump card. This is one of the sacred items that can unleash the full potential of the Long family's lightning elemental alchemy hand seal. It looks like he is determined to suppress Lin Chun. The other two contestants on the monster ranking glanced at Lin Chun from the corner of their eyes, and they were gloating. What a powerful aura! It's the lightning crystal core. He dares to use the lightning crystal core's power to refine pills. This kid really has the shadow of the Long family's ancestors. The three elders who were mainly observing the younger generation were surprised. This kid dared to add foreign objects into the alchemy hand seal, which meant that he had already mastered the hand seal to the peak. Buzz. On the west side of the White Jade Plaza, a strange phenomenon of hundreds of flowers blooming appeared out of nowhere. No, it wasn't a phenomenon. It was real. When he used his saint power to activate the alchemy hand seal, it was as if the flowers were blooming in spring and the begonias were blooming. Inside Sky-bearing City, under the Saint Power spatial light screen, a group of infatuated women stared at the young man in the sea of begonias. His eyebrows were raised, his nose was high, and he was 8 feet tall. When he activated the alchemy hand seal, his fingernails glowed with a faint purple light. He was like a person in a painting, free and easy. The women were mesmerized. It was the young man who was pursuing Princess Zi Yunqing, Sword Saint Begonia of the monster ranking, Long Yishuan. His pill-refining hand seal was full of vitality, causing people to feel relaxed and happy. Even Lin Chen was a little envious. It was another orange-grade alchemy hand seal. This kind of alchemy hand seal had a huge boost and amplification to the refinement of restoration-type pills. Long Yishuan's provocative gaze swept over Lin Chen, as if he was also challenging him. Don't think that you can get close to the princess just because she likes you. Princess Zi Yunqing is mine. Lin Chen's mouth twitched before Lin Chen could retort. A phenomenon appeared. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The red cherry petals in the sky withered instantly. Zi Yunqing stood proudly on the branches, her fingertips pointing rapidly as her hands formed a seal. A talisman appeared between her brows. Boom! Huge purple flames swept across the sky. Lin Chen's great flame, Sacred Phoenix bloodline actually throbbed faintly? This woman can trigger my elemental bloodline? She's not just a human? Lin Chen was shocked. A pair of huge wings appeared above Zi Yunqing's head. Her head was like an eagle's, her chin like a swallow's, and her neck like a snake's. Her body was wriggling with purple-red feathers, and her 5-colored fishtail feathers fluttered in the air. Her figure exuded a desolate aura, as if a prehistoric sacred spirit had descended. The phoenix's cry resonated in the sky as it released purple-red light. Accompanied by Zi Yunqing's hand seal, an 8th-level sacred beast core quietly shattered and turned into energy for alchemy. What was even more mysterious was that her middle-grade spiritual plant of providence, the true phoenix cherry tree, actually danced with the holy phoenix's phantom. The energy of the medicinal plant was constantly increasing, but it was all under Zi Yunqing's control. What a domineering energy! I see. The eyes of the hunchbacked elder in the jury lit up. This woman has both the human and phoenix bloodlines. No wonder she can control the true phoenix cherry tree to refine pills. This little girl might really be able to shake those old guys. The battle between the new generation and the old generation this time is much more exciting than before. Some of the rank 6 families stared at Zi Yunqing with envy. This woman's potential was unimaginable. She perfectly fused 2 bloodlines, was a peerless genius in alchemy, and was on the demon list. Among the rank 6 families, there weren't many demon geniuses that could be compared to her. Even among the rank 7 giants, she was one of the top. Whoosh! A hurricane swept by, and a pressure descended. Zi Yunqing actually looked down at Lin Chen while she was refining pills. Her arrogant eyes seemed to be questioning Lin Chen. This is the distance between us. How long do you plan on hiding, Lin Chen? Use your trump card, and then clearly see the difference between you and me. Everyone looked at Lin Chen in unison. He was the only one present who didn't start refining pills. There were too many legends about this young man. Some said that he was the beginning of a revolution in the alchemy world. Some said that he was the most likely person to break the rules of alchemy. Some said that he was a swindler. But these were all too confusing and beyond common sense. More importantly, if he didn't make a name for himself in the alchemy world of the Dan region, no one would believe his legends, because this place was the center and origin of alchemy in the sacred boundary. Chapter 1286. You can't wait to see my big baby? Looks like you're not as cold as the rumors say. Lin Chen smiled mockingly. His words made Zi Yunqing's face darken. He lowered his head and looked at the demonic seal on his palm. This time, there are only a few people who will drop spiritual energy light balls. Looks like I can refine pills in peace. Lin Chen looked at the pale but sinister young man who used the dragon corpse to refine pills. He could roughly guess this person's true identity. I didn't expect an old monster like him to come. Looks like I have to give it my all this time. Lin Chen exhaled. The corners of his mouth curled up, and he was overflowing with arrogance. You want to see, right? I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Chen took a step forward, and his shoulders suddenly shook. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Divine light flashed. At this moment, flowers fell from the sky. 9-colored divine light shuttled through the heavens and bloomed beside Lin Chen. 6 Lin Chens appeared out of nowhere. All the illusionary doppelgangers stood beside Lin Chen. Their appearances were majestic and handsome. Amidst their domineering arrogance, there was a resolute determination to cut off all means of retreat. Doppelganger technique? It's so mysterious. It's not as simple as a spiritual energy doppelganger. Even I can't see through it. It's hard to tell the real from the fake. The panel of elders exclaimed. At their level of spiritual energy, ordinary doppelganger techniques were nothing in front of them. They could see through the real body at a glance. However, with 7 Lin Chens standing together, it was hard to tell the real from the fake. If they didn't know where the real body was standing at the beginning, no one would be able to see the real body. What a profound cultivation technique. If I were to obtain this cultivation technique, then in the future, the position of Palace Master of the Thousand Shadows Flowing Flower Palace would be mine. This technique is very useful. The eyes of the monsters on the demon rankings lit up with greed and fanaticism. Once the doppelgangers appeared, Lin Chen's aura skyrocketed. He waved his hands in the air. Space rippled, and a brand new dimension appeared on top of each other. A fairyland-like paradise had descended. On the other side, it was spring with blooming flowers and a towering valley. Lin Chen had actually opened his clear snow plant pouch and Taoyuan plant pouch. Of course, he had only opened half of the 2 plant pouches. The other half hid some secrets and treasures that Lin Chen could not reveal. Many experts were shocked. The Purple Cloud King Valley's elders felt their scalps go numb. Qing Yao painted a paradise, while Long Qing transformed into a coiled dragon. 10,000 immortals stood in the clouds, the dragon blood flashing with red light. Peaches of immortality are seen in the clear snow and long mountains, and the 5 elements of spiritual plants grow around the elephant. Crimson gold ivy coils around the immortal mountain, crowding around Qing Shui's wandering spirit. The scene was too shocking. 13 kinds of fortune spirit plants? How dare he act so pretentious? The 5 elements spirit plants were actually collected by him? And the long Qinshu? Wandering God Tree. Holy immortality peaches. My God, where did this monster come from? Is he the legendary person with heaven-defying luck? He actually has 2 such rare spirit plants. Some of the experienced and knowledgeable veteran experts were shocked speechless. Even many geniuses on the monster genius roll with strong family backgrounds were dumbfounded. Everyone knew that one would be rewarded with 5 spirit plant seeds of providence for being on the monster genius roll. But according to the normal rules, a portion of the spirit plant seeds of providence had to be handed over to the sect or faction they belonged to. This was the reciprocation that the sect-nurtured talents deserve. In other words, the number of spirit plants of providence that a genius on the monster genius roll actually carried was between 3 to 4. Only some truly large and powerful factions would hand over all the spirit plant seeds of providence to their disciples. There were very few people like the Purple Cloud Green who could also carry middle-grade spirit plants. But now, Lin Chen had appeared and also had middle-grade spirit plants of providence. How could this not shock everyone? There was also the legendary wandering god tree that countless alchemists dreamed of. As for the 5 elemental spirit plants, the metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elemental spirit plants were rewards for being on the monster genius roll, and Lin Chun had collected all of them. The value of such spirit plants was slightly lower than the more valuable spirit plant. But if one could collect all 5 types, their value would increase exponentially. They could produce 5 elemental treasure chi that was extremely helpful for cultivation. The 7 Lin Chun stood in a group, and with a thought, the 13 spirit plants of providence shook. Tens of thousands of herbs floated up. Lin Chun looked up suddenly and his eyes focused. Using his dragon power, he let out a dragon roar, and his vast spirit power split into thousands of streams. He could observe freely and form hand seals instantly. The tens of thousands of herbs converged into 7 energy torrents and were refined rapidly. That was not all. The speed at which Lin Chun used the herbs was extremely fast. An endless stream of herbs was injected into the energy torrents. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Streams of light crisscrossed, and herbs of different attributes and types of energy were condensed accurately. Pew! Many hermit alchemists who had been talking loudly just a moment ago and were drinking hot tea and bragging about their past pill refinement spat out when they saw this scene. The elders of the jury abruptly stood up, their gazes shocked and shocked. Below sky-bearing city, countless alchemists were dumbstruck. This scene was too shocking. Rumors were rumors and were far less shocking than seeing it with their own eyes. Not to mention that some people had not heard of Lin Chun's rumors or did not believe them at all. The hunchbacked old man slowly stood up. He ground his teeth so hard that they creaked. Beneath his calm expression, there was shock and astonishment like a stormy sea. There really is such a ridiculous thing in the world? Song Ilian, who was on the high platform, straightened her body, her beautiful eyes shining as she stared at Lin Chun. The 7 Lin Chuns had their hands behind their backs, their gazes as sharp as swords as they looked down on the sky. Streaks of sharp spiritual light flashed through his eyes. The wind and clouds suddenly changed, and the energy surged. He didn't even have to form a seal with a single finger. Just that pair of sharp, threatening, and spirited eyes were enough to make all herbs move in unison. Zi Yunqing frowned. Her cold and moving face looked calm, but her heart was in a rare state. He is actually using his eyes to refine pills. Shangguan Luli, Qi Meier, and the other girls had seen Lin Chun's pill refinement with their own eyes. Now that they saw it again, it was still so shocking. Those who had seen Lin Chun's pill refinement with his eyes felt their hearts palpitate as they thought of what he had said that day. That he could go one level higher. Now they finally understood. That day, Lin Chun had only refined pills with his true body. He had not used his avatars yet. Last time, it was 1 Lin Chun. This time, it was 7 Lin Chun. Perhaps he was the only one in the world who could do such a thing. Could it be that he can really compete with Long Yijing? The elegant young man in green could not help but gulp. Long Yijing was the man who had defeated him in pill refinement. Even he felt inferior to Long Yijing. Could this brat really shake Long Yijing's talent in pill refinement? Is this what you meant by going one level higher? Interesting. The difference between a 4th grade and a 3rd grade pill is not something that can be made up by the number of people you have. Long Yijing glanced at Lin Chun from the corner of his eyes. He was about to sneer when he suddenly stopped. Next, an even more unexpected scene appeared before everyone's eyes. Chapter 1287. The youth's left eye was filled with tenderness, and his right eye was mesmerizing. His eyebrows were filled with the vicissitudes of life. The chief alchemist of the Cloud and Rain Palace, Wan Yunyu. At this moment, his 10,000 forms cloud and rain hand seal was being overshadowed by a young man's alchemy. He couldn't help but click his tongue as he stared at the energy of the herbs that resembled the stars in the sky. His heart was in turmoil. Is that the kid who appeared a while ago? He doesn't even need to form a seal to refine pills. Qian Yu's Huqianshuan's eyebrows were blazing red, but his body shook violently, and the corner of his mouth twitched a few times. Is there such a thing in the world? Using his eyes to refine pills? Young people these days are getting more and more ridiculous. Below sky-bearing city, many alchemy prodigies sighed in amazement when they saw the vast whirlpool of herbs. It was a level that they could never reach in their lifetime. In the next moment, an even more unexpected scene appeared. Walala! The 13 spirit plants of Providence consumed herbs too quickly. Tens of millions of silver Saint Origin coins were burning to increase Lin Chen's refining speed. Lin Chen's consumption of herbs was dozens of times faster than all the alchemists present. It was 100 times faster. His psychic power was like the starry sky under the universe, deep and mysterious. It was right in front of them, but it was unreachable. Clang! A handsome genius was dumbfounded. The jade cup in his hand fell to the ground and shattered. Most of the alchemists participating in the competition had mental energy that was like a bottomless lake. However, Lin Chen was like a raging ocean that had no end. Song Ilian's eyes suddenly lit up, and a trace of surprise appeared on her cold and beautiful face. His mental energy has reached this level. Everyone present who had mental energy above the middle stage of the Saint Rudiment realm was shocked. Late stage Saint Rudiment realm? His mental energy has reached the late stage Saint Rudiment realm. He's going to turn the world upside down. Is this kid going to turn the world upside down? How old is he? Right. He has the wandering divine tree. No wonder, no wonder. The various saint-level alchemists cried out in shock, but they also cried out that something was wrong. Late-stage Saint Rudiment realm mental energy in his 20s? Even if he started cultivating in his mother's womb, it was impossible. The corner of Long Yishuan's mouth twitched. Mastery Saint Rudiment stage. That was a realm that even he couldn't break through even after using all the power of his sect. On the contrary, he was still very far away from reaching the highest realm. Zi Yunqing, the princess of the ancient Holy Empire, was moved for the first time. He's actually at the same level as me. When Lin Chen's mental strength was revealed, everyone from the jury to the experts of Sky-Bearing Island were shocked and horrified. Saint Rudiment realm mental energy, every realm was a whole new world. A middle Saint Rudiment realm expert could easily suppress an early Saint Rudiment realm expert with a single thought. Only a few old monsters or alchemy giants who had been famous for hundreds of years could step into the late Saint realm. As far as the alchemists in this heavenly selection meeting were concerned, there were only about 12 Saint Rudiment stage alchemists. The class leader actually broke through to the Saint Realm Mastery stage. Han Yizhi was pleasantly surprised. With her nihility body, she naturally had the advantage of cultivating mental strength, but she still couldn't reach this realm. It could be seen how crazy Lin Chen's seclusion was during this period of time. Fairy Crimson's beautiful eyes flashed. She stared at Lin Chen's back as if she was thinking about something. His speed of improvement is too fast. I'm afraid I can't even catch up with his back. Jian Qingqing's heart was bitter. She could still participate in the Holy War for another 10 years until she became a monster candidate. Jian Qingqing's cultivation speed was unrivaled among geniuses of the same age, but in front of Lin Chen, it wasn't worth mentioning at all. The little demon empress' beautiful lips curled up slightly. Finally, he had also reached this realm. When the two of them first met, Lin Chen was just a little war emperor. Now that she had broken through to the Expanse Point realm at lightning speed, this so-called lightning speed was nothing in front of Lin Chen. Lin Chen really is an existence that defies common sense. In this world, there is actually someone who doesn't care about the laws of cultivation. Perhaps he can reach the realm that the ancestors of Purple Cloud King Valley couldn't reach. The elders of Purple Cloud King Valley sighed in amazement. Then, the little demon empress words enlightened the elders and many alchemists. Everyone, you only saw his mental strength of the late stage of the Saint Rudiment realm, but you didn't see his true trump card. The little demon empress raised her slender jade finger and smiled, charming everyone. Think about it, what did he do with his doppelganger? The little demon empress words made everyone suddenly stagnate. Doppelganger? His doppelganger had strength comparable to his main body, and could pass off as real. Wait a minute, thinking of this, even the elders of the jury's pupils trembled. If it can really compare to his main body, then wouldn't he, at this moment, whether it was the elders of the jury, Song Ilian, or all the hidden old monsters, they all felt a chill from the bottom of their feet to the top of their heads. It was equivalent to 7 late-stage Saint Rudiment realm alchemists refining pills together? Was he still human? Wasn't he, Lin Chen, the equivalent of 7 Saint Rudiment realm alchemists? If his main body's alchemy skill was 4th grade, then he was 7 4th grade alchemists refining pills together. What if it reached a higher level? It was terrifying to think about it. It was truly terrifying to think about it, and people didn't even dare to continue thinking about it. No wonder he consumed the medicinal ingredients so quickly. This was part of the reason. 7 Saint Rudiment realm alchemists refining pills together. When everyone looked again, they saw that the medicinal ingredients of the 13 spirit plants of destiny were being extracted and refined by the 7 Lin Chen at an extremely fast speed. Every Lin Chen's refining method was the same, and they completed the fusion of the medicinal ingredients with a raise of their eyebrows. It was natural and seamless, and there was no sense of stagnation, showing the style of a master. Isn't this breaking the rules? Some of the monstrous geniuses who were watching the competition were shocked. The rules of the competition state that all alchemy skills are considered the alchemist's own skill, except for the help of outsiders or the mixing of finished pills. The hunchbacked old man of the jury glanced at the monster with a sneer, and there was still shock in the depths of his old eyes. Since Lin Chen was able to remain calm in the face of his mental suppression during the first test, he had expected that this kid's mental strength might be on the same level as Zi Yunqing's. However, he had underestimated this kid. He actually had a doppelganger skill that was comparable to his main body's strength. To put it bluntly, this kid might shake the foundations of all the participating alchemists. Song Ilian's beautiful eyes glowed, and a strong sense of curiosity and excitement appeared on her pretty face. This young man is very interesting. Compared to the normal doppelganger skill, it can't be compared at all. The doppelganger also consumes the host's mental strength. More importantly, even if one doesn't specifically control it, the doppelganger can't be as precise as the main body in refining pills. His doppelganger skill is too mysterious. Chapter 1288. At this moment, fancy. Only the doppelganger technique is worth looking at. The young man, Dongfang Wuji, sneered. The energy in the dragon corpse in front of him became stronger, as if a new dragon had been born. A giant dragon had been revived. The attention the jury paid to Dongfang Wuji was no less than the attention they paid to Zi Yunqing and Lin Chen. It was very simple. This young man's alchemy skills were very strange. Although it was not as amazing as Lin Chen's alchemy skills, his alchemy skills were very strange. Even the old monsters in the jury, who had lived for countless eras, could not see what grade of alchemy handprint he was using. They could not even see through his mental realm. It was very strange. This young man was strange to the extreme. The new and old alchemists were very interesting to watch. The appearance of Lin Chen's clone in alchemy ignited the fighting spirit of all the alchemists who participated in the competition. Long Yijing was the only one who looked uncomfortable, as if he had eaten hot shit. His state of mind was in a mess, which almost caused him to fail in his alchemy. Damn it, how can I lose to him? My alchemy skills are unrivaled on the demon genius list. If I lose to this savage, wouldn't I be denying everything about my Long family? I must win it back. Long E Jing roared hysterically. At this moment, Lin Chun crossed his arms in front of his chest and stared at the sky. He was completely focused on alchemy. The sharpness in his eyes did not diminish and shone brightly. During this time, he kept eating the roaming soul fruit. The instantaneous speed of the second stage mental awakening and his advancement to the Mastery Saint Rudiment stage had increased his alchemy efficiency and accuracy by more than 10 times. However, the shortcoming of consuming a large amount of mental strength could not be improved. Fortunately, the mental strength consumed by Lin Chen's clone could be made up with the rune's energy attribute. He did not need an alchemy furnace. His mental strength was the best alchemy furnace. It had the most precise parts for alchemy and could help him run the alchemy process. Whether I succeed or fail, this is probably the craziest alchemy I've ever done in my life. Lin Chen's eyes shone with the determination to cut off all means of retreat. Lin Chen's only weakness was probably the grade of his alchemy hand seal, which was not at the orange level. Orange-tier alchemy handprints were too difficult to obtain. A single one could change the fate of a top grade 5 sect and greatly affect the development of a grade 6 sect. All of Lin Chen's opponents were old monsters from the sacred boundary or people ranked on the genius rankings with great backgrounds. The accumulation of power from their ancestors was not something that could be easily shaken. However, with Lin Chen's numerous trump cards, it wouldn't matter even if he didn't have an orange-tier alchemy hand seal. Scenes of the past appeared in Lin Chen's eyes. Let's go back to a month ago. On the 8th floor of the Boundary Tower, inside Old Shun's secret chamber. When Old Shun opened the jade slip in his palm, his expression changed from puzzlement to shock and then to confusion. What is this kid trying to do? Sealed within the jade slip were a large number of repetitive temporary pill recipes. Temporary pill recipes were the type that would be wasted after reading them once with one's mind power. They were usually used for collaborative pill refinement or to quickly record pill recipes. When he closed the jade slip, Old Shun stared at the storage ring that Lin Chen had given him. There were thousands of astral travel fruits inside, which made him unable to calm down for a long time. There's always a fine line between a genius and a lunatic. Rather than calling this young man a genius, it's better to call him a lunatic. Old Shun sighed and sent a secret voice transmission to the lower 3 floors of the Boundary Tower. All alchemy department elders on the middle 3 floors, head to the 8th floor immediately. Old Shun's words mobilized all the high-end alchemists in the Boundary Tower. Lin Chen used the astral travel fruits as a bargaining chip to get Old Shun to order all the high-end alchemists in the Boundary Tower. He was going to play a big game. This would be the most important pill refinement in his life. Lin Chen would definitely give it his all and give it his all. He would not hold back in this pill refinement. He had yet to use the trump card that he had mentioned to reach a higher level. Time passed. The Heavenly Choice Convention was a feast for the eyes of all the experts present. It was as if they were enjoying a great feast of pill refinement. Below Sky-Bearing City, the images projected by Saint Power gathered countless heated gazes as they stared at the busy figures and hand seals on Sky-Bearing Island. Everyone looked up at the phenomena on Sky-Bearing Island, or focused on the screen. The heated discussion continued without end. Some people even started betting on who would enter the top 10 and become the champion. There was no tiredness at all. Almost no one was willing to miss a single detail to watch an alchemist of this level refine pills with their own eyes. Every move displayed the style of a grandmaster. Outside of Sky-Bearing City, many Rank 2 and Rank 3 sects had gathered with their disciples and elders to watch the battle. The terrifying flow of people caused the area outside Sky-Bearing City to be filled with people and carriages. Some were ferocious beast mounts flying in the sky, and some were saints sitting in the air with large groups of people. Even if they couldn't observe the saint power inside Sky-Bearing City, they could still use their saint power or battle force. They could see the phenomena on sky-bearing island from tens of thousands of kilometers away. To be able to see such a high-level pill refinement feast with their own eyes, as a mortal, their life was not in vain. On the seventh day, another saint-level alchemist made a small mistake. The energy in the embryonic pill was chaotic, and caused him to fail and leave the stage. On the eighth day, two saint-level alchemists failed to merge the energy of Saint Beast cores and left the stage. All the participating alchemists were tense and didn't relax. The pill refinement this time was unprecedentedly difficult. The slightest mistake would result in failure. However, on the ninth day, all the experts on sky-bearing islands stared in one direction. It was Lin Chen. What is he trying to do with that attitude? Heavens, look, 4 saint-grade embryonic pills? What is he trying to do at this time? Everyone was shocked. Even the elders of the jury were dumbfounded. The little demon empress had an excited expression. Her beautiful eyes were shining as if she didn't care about the matter at all. Han Yizhi and Jian Qingqing's mouths were slightly open in the White Jade Plaza, in the area where Lin Chen's spirit plants of destiny were located. The energy and herbs floating in the air were as vast as 7 millstones that were thousands of meters long. What no one expected was that he had actually refined 4 saint-grade embryonic pills. Are you kidding me, boss? Are you choosing concubines here? Refining several at once and choosing the best one? The Heaven's Choice Convention looked at the final result. Quantity was useless. Did this Lin make the wrong pill? Or did he lose his brain? All the forces had the same thought. They all thought that this young man had lost his mind. Ha ha ha, wonderful Lin Chen. Refining 4 embryonic pills. Are you trying to show everyone how fast you are? Long Yijing laughed at the sky. The efficiency of his pill refinement increased. Just this. Zi Yunqing was arrogant and disdainful. She glanced at Lin Chen disappointedly. With Lin Chen doing this, there was no doubt that he would not be able to surpass Zi Yunqing. Quantity and quality were 2 different things. Chapter 1289. Lin Chen was so focused that he ignored everyone's doubts, disdain, and mockery. He only had eyes for pill refinement. 2 of the 6 avatars were refining pills with Lin Chen, and 4 were refining pills independently. They had a clear goal and flowed smoothly. Only the saint-level alchemists of the merchant groups sneered at first, but then they were shocked. If that was the case, then didn't he refine the pills himself before the competition started? Then the speed at which he produced the holy elixir was too fast. 1 person was stronger than 6 people? On Sky-bearing Island, there was a pavilion on the south side of the plaza. 12 monster genius ranking prodigies who weren't alchemists were watching. They had different expressions when they looked in Lin Chen's direction. What is he doing? A monster genius ranking prodigy who hadn't participated in the competition asked curiously. I don't understand. But I can be sure that he's not the kind of person to just stand there and wait. This person may be a monster genius ranking prodigy, but he's the most dangerous person in our pavilion recently. He must be plotting something. Another monstrous genius, who wore a cloak and held a tree branch in his hand, spoke seriously. This person's aura was retracted, and his eyes were filled with sword light that had returned to its original state. When he stared at Lin Chen, there was no hint of contempt in his eyes. I agree. Look at the little demon empress. I don't think this Lin Chen is here to show off. The red-robed young man whistled. Out of the corner of his eye, he looked at Zi Yunqing with a serious expression. On the 10th day, there were still saint-level alchemists who were eliminated. However, 4 beams of holy light shot into the sky from Sky-bearing Island's White Jade Plaza and attracted everyone's attention. Below Sky-bearing City, a saint pill has appeared? So fast, only a third of the competition's time has passed. A saint ring has appeared. Look closely, what grade is it? Many young alchemy prodigies stared fixedly at the top of Sky-bearing Island. It was the same outside Sky-bearing city. The saints felt that a Saint Pill had appeared? It had only been a few days. Could it be that they were too late? In the sky above Sky Pillar Island, pill clouds lingered and rosy clouds rose. Between the birth and death of his Dan Chi, there was a light drizzle. The raindrops were filled with a fragrant aroma. When one sniffed it lightly, one would feel relaxed and happy. There were even signs that his saint power was increasing. In the void, 4 pills the size of Long Qing transformed into 4 soaring phoenixes. 4 phoenix phantoms, formed from the spirituality of the pills, surrounded by 4 layers of halos. This is pill rain. 4 saint rings. All the pills have 4 saint rings. Pill rain, rank 4 appears. These are actually 4 tier 4 saint pills. The pharmacists from all walks of life lost their voices in shock. The elders of the jury all had different expressions. It was too fast. It should be said that it was ridiculously fast. Refining a tier 4 divine pill was not difficult for the elders of the jury. At their level, only tier 5 divine pills and above could be considered challenging. The 4 medicinal pills are all of the 4th rank, but this speed is too heaven-defying. The hunchbacked elder shook his head and clicked his tongue. Even the elders of the jury, with sufficient materials, would find it difficult to refine 2 tier 4 divine pills in 10 days, let alone 4. Lin Chen's efficiency and success rate were ridiculously fast. This was the advantage of a spiritual awakening. As long as Lin Chen's spiritual power could support the consumption, his spiritual seals would surpass the speed of all pharmacists of the same level. Naturally, his refining speed would be far faster than normal. On the high platform, Song Ilian, who had always been elegant and refined and ignorant of worldly affairs, was itching unbearably. Her beautiful eyes flashed with intense curiosity. She could not see through Lin Chen. She could not see through him at all. She was a pharmacist of her generation. She had created many precedents and unique methods of refining pills, which were collected by various rank 6 and even rank 7 sections. When it came to refining pills, even if it was a realm that she had not reached before, she still had enough foresight and experience to look forward to. She was almost an authoritative existence. However, from the beginning until now, all the methods used by this little guy were beyond her knowledge and expectations. She could not understand at all. What are you trying to do? The energy synthesis between pills is completely different and very complicated. You should be very clear about it. Refining extra pills is simply a waste of time. Song Ilian racked her brains but could not figure out what this young man was trying to do. The more she couldn't figure it out, the more unbearable her curiosity became. If it wasn't for the fact that it was the chosen one, with her temperament, she would have directly interrupted the meeting. She would have forcefully pulled Lin Chen into her secret room and studied him for months or even years. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lin Chen waved one hand and directly collected the 4 divine pills. Rumble. The 13 plants of providence shook together, and a large number of heaven and earth treasures and level 8 herbs shot out. There was almost no pause or hesitation, as if everything was within Lin Chen's expectations. His doppelganger's eyes turned and gathered a large number of herbs to refine pills again. At this time, everyone could only think of one thing. Perhaps Lin Chen did not have a level 5 pill formula? Was he trying to modify the pill formula on the spot? This was the only possibility. He was the only one on the monster genius list, the only one without any backing. It was reasonable that he did not have the time and foundation to accumulate level 5 pill formulas. Since ancient times, there had always been some monsters who could suddenly rise in a certain field. Modifying a pill formula on the spot might be beyond common sense for mortals, but in the elixir domain, it was not considered too heaven-defying. However, what happened next made everyone's jaws drop. It was the 20th day of the Chosen One. Another pill was born. It was still level 4, and it was still Lin Chen with 4 pills. Whether it was the spectators on the Monster Genius list, the various forces, the Elixir Domains Elders Guild, or the elders of the jury, they were all dumbfounded by him. What was he trying to do? Lin Chen seemed like he would never act according to convention. Once he got the divine pills, he continued to refine them. Look, there are still embryonic pills there. At this time, the elders of the jury finally noticed something strange. Under the cooperation of Lin Chen's main body and 2 clones, a well-hidden embryonic energy pill was slowly forming. As for his other 4 clones, they continued to refine other medicinal pills. This strange scene caused everyone to be puzzled. However, this suspicion was quickly washed away by the exciting event. On the 26th day, pill clouds appeared. Rays of Saint light shot into the sky and condensed into Saint rings. The divine pills were born. 3 Saint rings, 3 Saint rings, 4 Saint rings. It was Shangguan Luli, Qi Mei Er, and Fei Xiaoyu. Fei Xiaoyu had improved by leaps and bounds after Lin Chen helped her control her innate fiend physique. She had improved the most. At their age, they were able to refine divine pills of such quality. Their future was limitless. Following that, 2 more Monster Genius list geniuses produced pills. Both of them had 4 Saint rings, level 4 Saint pills. He so young. You are quite capable. However, this old man is not so old that he can be easily surpassed by young people. A chuckle echoed. The blue-robed elder sitting in the middle of the square stood up and slapped his cauldron. Rumble! With a rumble, the sky split open with a python-like rosy glow, which then dissipated into a rosy cloud. The eyes of the many experts on Sky-bearing Island burned with desire. Sky-bearing City was filled with excited shout. It had finally begun. When the cauldron was opened, it was time to witness the 100 clans compete. The Saint Alchemy Grandmasters from the 36 regions welcomed a direct confrontation. Chapter 1290. The Elder in Green pushed the cauldron with his palm, and a beam of holy light shot into the sky like a heavenly dragon. It burst into the sky and emitted a green brilliance. As the holy light shrouded the sky, the elixir aura transformed into a spiritual cat with 4 intense holy rings. Its 4th holy ring was much brighter than Fei Xiaoyu's and the other 2 monsters. A mid-grade 4th grade divine elixir. Old man, your skills haven't deteriorated, right? No matter what, you have to count this old man in. You only dared to refine a mid-grade 4th grade divine elixir this time. You don't have the guts anymore, right? When the 2 elders laughed, another 2 beams of elixir aura shot into the sky. When the elixir aura was condensed, there were also 4 holy rings. 2 high-grade 4th grade divine elixirs. You 2 old fogies, you really dare to gamble, the elder in green laughed. It was extremely difficult to refine a high-grade 4th grade divine elixir. In such a high-standard competition like the Heaven's Choice Convention, most of the veteran Saint Alchemists would only refine the most stable grade. There weren't many people who dared to challenge their limits in such a competition. Since all the seniors are so excited, I can't miss it. In the square, the dignified Long Yishuan stood up, and a hint of confidence appeared on his pale face. Rise. He slapped the cauldron, and another beam of elixir aura shot into the sky. The radiance of the elixir aura could be clearly seen from 100,000 miles away. Then, 4 holy rings appeared one after another. It was another high-grade 4th grade divine elixir. Long Yishuan really hides his skills well. A red-haired young man whistled in the pavilion filled with the 12 prodigies on the monster rankings. A high-grade 4th grade divine elixir. This guy can cultivate such insane alchemy skills while his sword skills are so strong. He's really a monster. Facing the high-grade 4th grade divine elixir, all the veteran elites were shocked. They didn't expect this junior to be so strong that he could be on par with them in alchemy. The strength of the monster rankings was getting more and more terrifying with each session. Walala! the holy light shone again, and another 7 divine elixirs were born. All of them were 4th-grade divine elixirs. They were the other 7 veteran saint alchemists. However, his avatar didn't surpass Long Yishuan's. The atmosphere of the scene was instantly ignited. Looking at the layers of holy light pill rings in the air, this was the realm that countless alchemists dreamed of. TSK. Bang. A thunderclap exploded. At this moment, a terrifying aura swept through the white jade square. The entire sky-bearing island emitted a strong holy light. Ha 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 ha, come out, my greatest masterpiece. The dragon ritual crystal was bathed in lightning. As he laughed maniacally, he stood up and opened his arms wide. The sharpness between his eyebrows increased dramatically. His long robes fluttered in the wind. Behind him, countless thunder dragons roared angrily. The moment his alchemy hand seals stopped, tens of thousands of thunderbolts fell silent. In a split second, the entire sky was filled with dancing lightning and silver snake. A terrifying pressure of thunder and lightning descended from the sky, causing the space to tremble. A bolt of lightning shot out from the pill furnace of the dragon ritual crystal, shooting straight to the 9 heavens. Bang! Bang! The lightning exploded, and there was a series of crackling sounds. An azure sacred pill floated out from the lightning. Its entire body was surrounded by boundless lightning, and its spirituality condensed into a lightning snake. It danced in the sky, looking very lifelike. The lightning snake was surrounded by 4 holy rings that flashed with lightning. There was even a faint 5th holy ring that was faintly discernible. It was a peak grade 4 holy pill. It was only 1 step away from a grade 5 holy pill. The dragon ritual crystal had performed exceptionally. This holy pill caused the expressions of many veteran saint alchemists to change slightly. They instantly suppressed the entire scene. In the past Heaven's Choice conferences, there were few juniors who could refine a peak grade 4 holy pill. There were very few cases. Qinggu, do you see? I, dragon ritual crystal, am the one destined for you. The high-spirited dragon ritual crystal instantly turned to look at the little demon empress. The corners of his mouth curled up. He was arrogant and handsome, causing many women below sky-bearing city to scream. The little demon empress frowned slightly, but she didn't say anything. With his age and cultivation, being able to refine a peak grade 4 holy pill was extremely rare even on the monster genius list. That's too amazing. Long Yishuan couldn't help but click his tongue. He was very clear that a grade 4 holy pill was like an expanse point saint. Every time it increased in rank, the difficulty would at least double. At least he, Long Yishuan, had no more than a 20% chance of refining a peak grade 4 holy pill. He didn't dare to gamble on such a low probability and waste so many resources in such a grand event. Long Yijing arrogantly raised his chin and looked down at Lin Chen with a hint of mockery. This time, he had already won the bet between him and Lin Chen. He couldn't wait to see Lin Chen's miserable appearance after being defeated. He even dared to say that he wanted to give the little demon empress a surprise. Shameless boasting. Peak grade 4? It's not that bad. Lin Chen laughed casually in his heart. His gaze didn't change as he stared at the embryonic pill. He couldn't be bothered to argue with this loser. Young people these days really don't know how high the sky is. Dongfang Wuji sneered disdainfully. The mental energy gathered in his palm changed again, and his hand's seals suddenly changed. Zi Yunqing's beautiful eyes focused on her pill furnace. She didn't care about Long Yijing's phenomenon at all. Once Long Yijing's peak grade 4 holy pill was produced, many experienced saint-grade alchemists couldn't compare. Finally, it was the 30th day. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Auspicious auras filled the air as floating lotuses. 999 streaks of auspicious auras filled the sky. 999 streaks of red clouds gathered like clouds. 3 pairs of golden boys and jade girls beat gongs and drums and appeared in the sky at the same time. These 6 people were formed by the holy pill. It's the sword regent's profound gold 3 elders. What a powerful aura! The medicinal pills they concocted have the same effect even though they are different methods. As the experts of the various rank 6 forces exclaimed, the phenomenon suddenly changed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The 3 pairs of golden boys and jade girls started to give birth to holy rings. They directly broke through to the 4th ring. And it didn't stop. Crack! With a crisp sound, a faint 5th holy ring appeared. Although it wasn't as bright as the first 4, it was still more complete than Long I Ching's. The 3 pairs of golden boys and jade girls had 5 holy rings around their bodies. Holy light shone for millions of feet, illuminating the sky. It was as if an ancient Holy Spirit had descended. Sky-bearing city instantly exploded. Grade 5. A grade 5 holy pill is too powerful. 3 grade 5 holy pills appeared at the same time. What a terrifying energy wave! The energy of a grade 5 holy pill is several times stronger than the holy power stored in my holy points. Whether it was outside sky-bearing city or inside the city, a wave of excitement swept through. The 3 elders with twin faces were in high spirits. Their sharpness was restrained as they stood proudly in the sky. It was as if this was just the prelude to a storm. One wave after another. On the east side of the white jade square, a youth stepped into the air. It's been so many years. I haven't used all my strength to refine pills like this. His left eye was filled with gentleness, and his right eye was mesmerizing. His eyebrows were filled with the vicissitudes of life, and his eyes were full of smiles. It's that old guy. The elders of the jury finally revealed a dignified expression. Xuanyu's Cloud and Rain Palace, Senior Wan Yunyu. Those on the monster genius list stared at the youth's cauldron with serious expressions. He flicked his finger, and a beam of pill chi shot into the sky when the cauldron was activated. Rumble! The pill glow stirred the clouds and turned into a 10,000-foot pill cloud. A serpent covered in mist appeared out of nowhere. It was a serpent formed by the spirituality of a holy pill. The serpent breathed and turned into a holy ring. At this moment, light shone brightly. The light of the serpent spread across the sky and wrapped around the serpent's body. The 5 holy rings shone brightly. In the elder group, the hunchbacked elder's eyes shone brightly. A middle grade 5 holy pill. The entire crowd entered a short period of breathless silence. In the past, a middle grade 5 holy pill would be enough to compete for the top 5. The Heavenly Selection Convention was entering its final climax. Chapter 1291. A middle grade 5th grade sacred pill. This alchemy realm was close to the elders of the Dan Region Elder Council. Even if it wasn't as good, it wasn't far off. As expected of Xuanyu's Wan Yunyu, you've really opened my eyes, the beautiful woman giggled. She wore a jade green dress and was like a butterfly in a flower valley, hazy and illusory. I've reserved one of the top 10 spots this time. The beautiful woman smiled and tapped the pill furnace with her fingertip. She lifted the lid and a jade green light shone between heaven and earth. Rays of jade green light flew out of the pill furnace and danced in the sky. The pill glow danced and its power rose, condensing into a large jade green pill cloud that released a terrifying sacred aura. Ordinary aperture expansion realm cultivators could even smell a trace of danger. A faint fox shadow extended from the jade green pill cloud. A jade fox appeared, its spirituality otherworldly. It actually knelt down and worshipped the beautiful woman in the sky. It's the Thousand Regions Hua Manlu flying sacred pill. What a great saint pill with sufficient spirituality. The elders of the jury couldn't help but exclaim. To recognize a master at the beginning, this pill was at least 5th grade. Finally, the dense core chi around the jade fox's body began to gather, from 1 to 4 in one go. At the 5th ring, The light wandered for a while before disappearing. Another middle-grade 5th grade sacred pill. So powerful! Fei Xiaoyu and Shangguan Liuli exclaimed. Moreover, just from the appearance of its spirituality, it was slightly better than Wan Yunyu's. But the specific ranking would have to wait for Song Ilian and the elders of the jury to decide. Ah! This is what the Heaven's Choice Convention should be like. Looks like this old man can't fall behind. Since everyone is so interested, this old man will naturally accompany them to the end. Thousand Regions Old Man will laugh. With a twist of his palm, the pill furnace's temperature rose. Heat waves swept in all directions, making people's mouths dry and sweaty. Even the saints felt a wave of heat. A beam of fire swept up the sky. The red pill cloud condensed into a fire lion full of spirituality. It was extremely powerful, and its sacred rings broke through the 5th ring. The 5th ring wasn't inferior to the first. It was another middle-grade 5th grade sacred pill. Sky-bearing city instantly exploded. Rank 5, another rank 5. It was too powerful. These super holy pills were usually priceless. There were very few chances to see them in high-level auctions, but today, so many 5th grade holy pills had appeared one after another. Hee, this old man's luck is not bad. Come and fight for the championship with everyone. The inconspicuous gray-robed old man flicked his sleeve and chuckled with the demeanor of a transcendent being. 10,000 spiritual palms appeared behind him. When he activated the alchemy furnace, a green light illuminated the 9 heavens. The green light illuminated the void, and the faint green light condensed into a horsetail whisk with 5 saint rings around it. Another 5th grade mid-level divine pill had been born. It's him. The 1,000 pill 10,000 hands, the 1,000 pill 10,000 hands, Li Daoran of the Grand Jing sect. The eyes of the powerhouses from the various forces sharpened. This Heaven's Choice assembly was truly filled with experts. The forces outside Sky-bearing City couldn't help but breathe heavily when they saw the layers of saint rings. Some of them even sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate on the spot. When large amounts of high-level pills were born, they would gather large amounts of spirit energy and saint power. This had the effect of adding fuel to the flames of cultivation. Saints were far more efficient at absorbing heaven and earth spirit energy than battle emperors. This Heaven's Choice assembly had endless uses and benefits for the low-level saints of the 2nd and 3rd rank sects. Inside the White Jade Plaza. Old man, you're still as good as ever. The climax continued. A long laugh caused the sky above Sky-bearing Island to explode. The yellow river flowed as pills appeared out of nowhere. The yellow spring flowed from the sky, and a deathly silence descended. One finger of the yellow spring Tao life and death, one pill heart Tao soul. Under the yellow spring, an old man in sackcloth stroked his beard and smiled. One finger of the yellow spring hall, Xiao Huang. The prodigies of the monster genius ranking exclaimed. The energy of this holy pill surged and condensed into 5 more saint rings that illuminated the world. 4 5th grade mid-level and 3 5th grade early-level divine pills shone like stars, illuminating all of Sky-bearing Island and Sky-bearing City. This scene caused countless alchemists to bow down in worship. It was like a saint had descended, and tens of thousands of masters bowed down. It wasn't over yet. A ripple of energy comparable to a 5th grade divine pill came from the corner of the White Jade Plaza. The youth had his hands behind his back. The 7 of them were as straight as spears, their eyes sharp and unstoppable. It was Lin Chen. His embryonic pill gave off energy comparable to a 5th grade embryonic pill. He's refining a 5th grade divine pill. My God, is he going to surpass all the grandmasters? The alchemy prodigies in Sky-bearing City who were staring at the screen of light exclaimed in shock. What kind of joke is this? He can refine a 5th grade divine pill? Long Yi Jing's eyes bulged, and his expression was extremely ugly. However, in the next moment, he suddenly laughed madly. Ha 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 ha. Lin Chen, you don't have time. So what if you're a 5th grade divine pill? You're still an embryonic pill. There are less than 14 hours left until the conference. You're doomed. Lin Chen ignored Long Yijing's wild laughter. His gaze was fixed on the embryonic pill in the sky. Extreme excitement and heat flashed through his eyes. Almost there, just as Lin Chen was chanting in his mind, a phoenix cry came, and the wind and clouds in the sky suddenly changed. Lin Chen, you can barely be considered a match for this princess, but it's too late. It was Purple Cloud Green. She stood on the true phoenix cherry tree. Red cherry blossoms adorned her feathers and made her appear proud and otherworldly. She wore a purple dress and a phoenix crown. At this moment she was like a phoenix looking down on the world. The beauty waved her sleeves. Purple-red phoenix flames covered the sky and erupted from the cauldron. A medicinal pill charged out of the cauldron and into the sky. All the anomalies in the world were reduced to mere foils. Within the intense purplish-red Dan haze, a true phoenix was born. The true phoenix had 5 holy rings around it. The light of the 5th holy ring was more than twice as bright as the other 5th grade divine pills. The experts from the various forces stood up abruptly. They were dumbfounded, and their faces were filled with shock. The elders of the jury sucked in cold air. A high-grade 5th grade divine pill. This princess from an ancient holy empire had suppressed all the old and new alchemists present. This girl is a peerless genius in alchemy. She will definitely be the leader of the elixir region in the future. Song Ilian's simple words thoroughly evaluated Z Cloud Green. In the Heaven's Chosen Convention, there were very few young alchemists who could enter the top 10. The first 3 were all extremely representative veteran alchemists. Now, history was being rewritten. Z Cloud Green had surpassed all the alchemists present with her own strength. It's true that each new generation excels the previous one. Each generation is stronger than the previous one. If this old man were to refine a medicinal pill of this grade, the success rate would probably be less than 10%. Zi Yunqing, what a devilishly talented girl. Many experts of the 6th grade families were amazed. Those on the Demon Genius list all stared at Z Cloud Green with serious expressions. This girl would definitely be a strong competitor on the Demon Genius list in the future. Z Cloud Green stood in the air. There was no arrogance in her eyes. On the contrary, she seemed to take it for granted. First place? First place again. Is there no one in the elixir region who can surpass me? Forget it. Next, I'll set my goal as first place in the elixir region's Elder Council. As Z Cloud Green was feeling lonely, a hoarse young man's voice spread throughout Sky-bearing Island. Little girl, why are you acting like you're alone? You're so young. You don't know what true invincibility is. Let this king show you what alchemy is. The young man raised his palm. The 3 dragon corpses came to life and showed signs of coming back from the dead. At this moment, the elders of the jury were shocked. Me. Chapter 1292. This king? Who in this world dared to call themselves this king? Not even a 9th firmament saint or a 9th revolution saint had the right to do so. This self-proclamation made the elders of the jury feel an inexplicable fear. They were people who had been fortunate enough to see a real Saint King. That kind of existence could overturn heaven and earth and destroy thousands of existential planes with a wave of their hand. The 3 dragon corpses throbbed, and dragon scales, dragon skin, and dragon tendons miraculously grew. Their skin and flesh began to recover, and their flesh and blood began to condense. This scene was strange and eerie. Even powerful alchemy giants like 6th grade forces and 7th grade sects also felt a sense of physical revulsion. The dragon corpses regained their vitality. Everyone felt their scalps tingle at the sight of the dragon corpses' vitality becoming stronger and stronger. Just as everyone was on guard against the resurrection of the 3 primordial dragon corpses, a heart-wrenching dragon roar stopped this strange scene abruptly. The dragon corpses' resurrection energy actually spat out a breath of colorful dragon aura, which went into the pill in the void. Finally, Song Ilian's expression changed slightly. He used the dragon corpses to refine pills. While refining the embryonic pills, he consumed a lot of herbs and sacred power to assimilate the embryonic pills and the dragon corpse's vitality energy. Then, he used the massive amount of vitality energy that erupted when the embryonic pills were formed to allow the dragon corpses to obtain the energy to forcefully change fate and attempt resurrection. At the moment of resurrection, he cut off the dragon corpse's vitality and infused the pure dragon aura produced during the moment of resurrection into the embryonic pills to complete the refinement of the sacred pills. What a brilliant technique! What profound alchemy skills! Song Ilian was moved. While refining the embryonic pills, he assimilated the dragon corpse's aura with the dragon corpses that were in suspended animation. Then, he used the energy during the refinement to forcefully resurrect the dragon corpses and infused the pure dragon aura obtained during the moment of resurrection into the pills to further refine the finished pills. This was not an alchemy technique that mortals could think of at all. If Song Ilian were to refine pills by herself, the success rate of using this technique would not exceed 50%. Of course, the technique and the final pill grade were 2 different things. Roar, roar. The 3 dragon corpses went from death to life, and from life to death again in just a short moment. They had gone through a cycle of reincarnation. The dragon's breath surged wildly and continuously condensed into the core. In an instant, the winds and clouds in the sky changed abruptly. Within the massive purplish-black pill glow, streaks of dragon chi were born and crisscrossed the void. It was as if a demonic dragon had appeared and covered the sky, its demonic might suppressing all directions. The many experts present felt as if their hearts were being squeezed by an invisible hand. They instinctively revealed a deep sense of fear and dread, as if some peerless ferocious creature was about to emerge from the layer of red clouds. All of the holy core phenomenon present were suppressed to the point of dimming. Within the red glow, a purplish-black elixir transformed into the breath of a demonic dragon. Its entire body was surrounded by waves of dragon chi. Finally, it condensed into 5 holy rings. Rank 5. Another 5th-grade medicinal pill. However, the pupils of all the experts trembled. The light of the 5th saint ring was even brighter than that of Zi Yunqing's saint elixir. Finally, when the 6th saint ring was about to appear, it stopped. The elders of the jury all stood up. Peak rank 5. It was a purple cloud green that far surpassed the high-grade 5th stage. This kind of foundation in alchemy was not inferior to some of the elders of the Pill region's Elder Council. One had to know that those who could enter the Elder Council were all top alchemy geniuses and reclusive old monsters selected from the 36 regions. They had also experienced the tempering of the previous Heaven's Choice conferences to reach this height. Who exactly was this person? Was this really a level that a young genius could achieve? Zi Yunqing was a little dazed, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. She had actually lost? The entire sky-bearing city instantly exploded. Guesses and curiosity about this Dongfang Wuji's identity were ignited. In a short 15 minutes, the champion of the Heaven's Choice Conference had changed hands several times. Little girl, this king's mental consciousness is just playing with you. No need to show such an expression. Your talent is only SOSO compared to this king's in the past. Dongfang Wuji patted the dust off his shoulder and smiled coldly. When he looked at Zi Yunqing, the corners of his mouth were full of disdain and arrogance. Sir, who are you? Song Ilian slowly stood up, her eyes filled with a sky-tearing mental power as she questioned in a cold voice. He had repeatedly called himself a king and his methods were profound. This was not something a young person could do. This king's name is not something a junior like you is worthy of knowing. This king's title, Clear Sky. When Dongfang Wuji announced his name, the entire audience fell into a strange silence. Clear Sky? Could it be? The eyes of the elders of the jury shook. This name was known by everyone in the sacred boundary. Every saint king was a supreme existence that led an era in the sacred boundary. No peak saint could compare to a saint king. You are the Clear Sky Saint King? Song Ilian was stunned. This legendary figure had personally come to their Pill region? Junior, your talent is not bad. This king doesn't care about other mortals. This king will give you a chance. Follow this king and become this king's servant. You will have the chance to peek into a higher realm in the alchemy world. The one in front of you is only a thread of this king's mental consciousness. Dongfang Wuji put his hands behind his back and spoke slowly. There was a kind of arrogance between his brows. This was the majesty of a saint king. Once this was said, all the experts on Atlas Island were stunned. The Clear Sky Saint King was recruiting Song Ilian? Ziyun's face lost all color, and her pretty face turned pale. He was actually a saint king. Even if it was just a thread of his mental consciousness, it was still an existence that ruled the world and stood at the peak of a saint. How domineering and bold. He actually said that he wanted to recruit the most outstanding alchemist in the Pill region. He didn't care about other alchemists at all. Song Ilian's expression changed. According to the rules, the Clear Sky Saint King didn't break the rules. Any alchemist could participate in the Heaven's Choice meeting, regardless of qualifications and status. Junior, this king will give you 3 days to consider. The Clear Sky Saint King smirked at Song Ilian. Then, he grabbed his peak grade 5 divine pill. The experts present were shocked and sighed. Losing to a saint king was completely natural. This time, the champion will definitely be the Clear Sky Saint King. He's too strong. I didn't think that I would be lucky enough to see a saint king in my life. But isn't this too much of a bully? Isn't the Saint King coming to participate in this competition the same as trampling on our generation of alchemists? All the alchemists present felt bitter. It was too difficult. Who could defeat a Saint King? Even a thread of his mental consciousness wasn't something they could compete with. And you, kid? The Clear Sky Saint King looked down at Lin Chen from above. Lin Chen, the embryonic pill you refined is probably a Tier 5 advanced pill, right? The Clear Sky Saint King smiled evilly. Once this was said, the experts were shocked. Ziyun's eyes shone with a touch of light as she stared at Lin Chen. He actually refined a pill of the same grade as her? Ah! Under everyone's gaze, Lin Chen put his hands behind his back and laughed loudly. What a close call, Clear Sky Saint King. Have you forgotten who was the one who danced on your grave? The corners of Lin Chen's mouth curled up, overflowing with arrogance. Next, it's my turn to give you a big gift. Have a taste of your brother Chen's eyes to refine pills to another level. Chapter 1293. When the Saint King pointed it out, everyone knew that this kid's talent in alchemy was on the same level as Ziyunqing. He came this time to stop Lin Chen. This kid was so monstrous that even he, the Saint King, felt threatened. He was the one who valued Lin Chen the most among all the experts present. He came this time to stop him from becoming the champion. However, when they heard his laughter, everyone's scalp exploded. Even higher level? All the elders of Purple Cloud King Valley stood up subconsciously. The little demon empress clenched her fist. It's coming, it's coming. Long Yi Jing's eyes trembled. Could it be that the refining of the 6 doppelgangers was still not his full strength? At this moment, everyone who could not see through the grade of the embryonic pill that Lin Chen was refining seemed to have been covered up by him with a strange method. However, looking at the energy fluctuation, it was not inferior to the 5th grade. Even higher level? What a joke. Do you think you can surpass me? You can't even refine a 5th grade high-level pill now, so how can you talk about even higher level? The clear sky Saint King was so angry that he laughed. Refining pills? The alchemy level that he had reached back then was enough to look down on Lin Chun 18 times over. Wanting to counterattack in front of him, the Saint King of his generation? Lin Chun did not have this qualification. Then let's try. Lin Chun and all the doppelgangers focused their eyes. Their spiritual energy soared to the sky, and the dazzling spiritual energy around the embryonic pill was pushed into the sky. Boom! Song Ilian's figure flashed and stood at the side of Lin Chen's plaza. Although she did not say anything, everyone understood that she wanted to prevent the clear sky Saint King from doing anything that violated the rules. The clear sky Saint King sneered, as if he did not care to attack Lin Chen. He crossed his arms in front of his chest. Behind Lin Chen were his 6 doppelgangers. They were handsome and had sword-like eyebrows. Step by step, he stepped into the air and finally stood on the same level as the clear sky Saint King. Everyone was shocked. Zi Yunqing was stunned. Could it be that he really had a backup plan? But even if he had a backup plan, it could not shake the Saint King's pill-refining masterpiece. Lin Chen opened his arms and his spiritual energy surged. At this moment, the wind blew wildly and the clouds changed. The young man's heroic shout was mixed with vast mental power and spread through all of Sky-bearing City. Come! This shout seemed to have penetrated the consciousness of all the powerhouses on Sky-bearing Island. A shudder instantly spread through their bodies, and their blood boiled. Boom! 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 Lin Chen's 13 spiritual plants of providence danced wildly in the wind, instantly shooting out endless streams of light. Red's red light soared into the sky. Thousands upon thousands of meteors shot towards the sky like auroras. 10,000 rays sky Saint King's every ray of light was a saint red. Tens of thousands of rays of holy light floated in the air, like a new moon that was overflowing with light and color. They were like dazzling stars that would never change. As they floated in the void, the dazzling brilliance of the 9-colored pill illuminated the young man's peerless spirit, like a god descending to the mortal world. Heavens! My God, 10,000 divine elixir pills? What? All the elders in the jury felt their scalps go numb. The various forces and experts of Sky-bearing Island were dumbfounded. It was simply unbelievable. Even a normal person almost fainted from fright, much less the top alchemists. 10,000 saint pills floated in the sky. The young man who was enshrouded in 9-colored divine light smiled faintly. He was like an immortal who had descended to the mortal world. His demeanor was peerless. Explode. His gaze instantly swept across the area. Bam! 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 Saint pills exploded in Lin Chen's sight. A series of saint pills fell like flowers from the sky, fluttering about and exploding. Boom! Waves of earth-shattering energy swept through the sky, covering all of Sky-bearing Island and spreading outside the island. Boundless 9-colored brilliance spread towards the ends of the world, exploding continuously. Streaks of auroras exploded one after another, and colorful mushroom clouds of energy bloomed in the sky. It was like the most beautiful fireworks in the world were blooming at this moment. The world shook and space trembled. Outside Sky-bearing City, one could clearly see this dazzling scene from hundreds of thousands of miles away. What happened at the Heavenly Choice Conference. Experts are fighting? No, this energy is so pure. This seems to be the smell of Saint Pills exploding? Impossible. Who the F***ck would explode Saint Pills? Is there something wrong with that person? How many would it take to cover the sky? At this very moment, the distant horizon was completely covered by the brilliance of the 9-colored pill radiance. It was magnificent and extremely beautiful. As far as the eye could see, there was only the 9-colored aurora left between the heavens and the earth. All the experts of Sky-bearing Island gaped. The people below Sky-bearing City were even more dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even Clear Sky Saint King was no exception. Exploding 10,000 pills with one look. How could there be such a crazy action in the world? How could there be such a scene in the world? This was the light of 10,000 Saint pills exploding. It was suffocatingly beautiful. The moment when everyone was dumbfounded was the moment when Lin Chen was incomparably focused. Now, condense. All of Lin Chen's avatars entered their best state, and his mind power was pushed to the limit. Like the blooming Saint pills, his mind power was like a galaxy that stretched across the sky above Sky-bearing Island. All of the blooming Saint pills' energy was quickly extracted according to Lin Chen's will and order. Streaks of dazzling 9-colored pill radiance were extracted and refined into his Longan-sized embryonic pill. The 9-colored light was compressed layer by layer, and the embryonic pill's energy rose at a visible rate. The first to notice this drastic change were the elders of the jury and Song Ilian. Then the alchemists with high mind power present all stared in shock at Lin Chen. He was extracting the energy of 10,000 Saint pills explosion to refine pills? How is this possible? Freak, too freakish. How can this youth have such a crazy method of refining pills in the world? The elders of the jury lost their composure. Using the energy of a finished Saint pill to refine pills? This was fundamentally impossible. The energy of a finished Saint pill was indeed the essence, but it was almost impossible to refine it a second time. Every Saint pill's refinement was done with countless strict and meticulous combinations and selections. The energy after they were formed was extremely complex. Unless one knew the Saint pill's recipe like the back of their hand and reached the realm of perfection, it was impossible to extract part of the Saint pill's energy. But to refine pills it was extremely difficult, not to mention refining 10,000 at the same time. This idea was not just crazy, it was insane. No one dared to think about it, and no one could do it. He actually has such a method. Zi Yunqing stood there in a daze. When all the monstrous geniuses gazed at the 9-colored radiance that covered the heavens and the earth, they couldn't help but recall what Lin Chen had said that day. A surprise was an explosion. An explosion was an art. The little demon empress covered her mouth, so this was the surprise he was talking about? Seeing that Lin Chen's embryonic pill's energy was rapidly transforming, Song Ilian's eyes lit up like never before. There is actually such an alchemist in this world. Chapter 1294. The explosions of the Saint pills continued, shaking Sky Pillar Island's spatial barrier to the brink of collapse. The massive 9-colored pill radiance spun into an energy vortex that was tens of thousands of feet long. From afar, it looked like a beautiful 9-colored disk that was slowly spinning. At the center of the vortex was Lin Chen's embryonic pill. The energy fluctuations of his embryonic pill were 10 times more violent than before. It could not be stopped at all. It had undergone a metamorphosis that was several grades higher than before. Lin Chen's eyes flickered dozens of times in succession. The order and quantity of all the energy entering his pill did not exceed his expectations at all. Lin Chen's mental energy was extremely fast. Almost instantly, he grabbed hundreds of energy streams and absorbed them into his embryonic pill. His mental energy that was as vast as the Milky Way in the Milky Way was rapidly drying up at this moment. Host is continuously activating the illusory rune, consuming 8,000 rune energy. Consuming 5,000 rune energy, the mental energy consumption of the doppelganger was even more terrifying. It was as if the doppelganger's mental energy had been emptied in just a few dozen breaths. The amount of mental energy required to control the energy of 10,000 Saint pills explosions and refine them according to the order he wanted was simply off the charts. If Lin Chen's mental energy had not advanced to the Mastery Saint rudiment stage, it would have been impossible for him to try out his original pill explosion style. The energy in Lin Chen's embryonic pill skyrocketed. It was on a completely different level from when it was first born. Many Saint-grade alchemists and powerhouses could not help but gulp as they asked Song Ilian with great difficulty. Senior Song Ilian, Lin Chen, what is he? The energy in his embryonic pill hasn't even been completed, but it's already surpassing the peak of the 5th grade. Even the elders of the jury were shocked and felt their scalps go numb. Everyone had underestimated his ambition. This child's goal was unimaginably terrifying. Faced with the many experts' quivering questions, Song Ilian answered resolutely and decisively. You guys didn't guess wrong. What he wants to refine is a genuine 6th grade medicinal pill. As soon as she said this, the corners of the monstrous geniuses and powerhouses from various forces trembled violently. A 6th grade pill? The higher the grade of the holy pill, the harder it was to raise each grade. The most direct example was that if one wanted to refine a peak grade 5 sacred pill, one would need to perform billions of steps within tens of thousands of herbs. Then, to concoct a 6th grade medicinal pill, he would need to go through tens of billions of steps. Rank 5 and rank 6 were not on the same level at all. The difference in difficulty was not as simple as 10 times. The more steps one needed to prepare, the more difficult it would be to refine the medicine in the later stages. Even among the pill region's elders present, there were no more than 5 people who could refine Tier 6 sacred pills. And the success rate was extremely low. Among the upper echelons of the pill domain present, only Song Ilian dared to guarantee the success rate of a grade 6 sacred pill. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was to refine a grade 6 saint pill. This Lin Chen actually dared to challenge a 6th rank right off the bat. Since ancient times, there had never been a precedent in the Heavenly Selection Assembly. But Senior Song Ilian, he's controlling so much violent energy to refine a grade 6 sacred pill. It's impossible for him to succeed. A genius on the monster ranking could not help but ask in fear. Not necessarily. Song Ilian's gaze was fixed on Lin Chen, unwilling to leave Lin Chen for even a second as she spoke seriously. The difficulty of refining a grade 6 sacred pill is mainly in the second half. When the pill is refined into a grade 6 pill, the energy required to transform the embryonic pill into a complete pill is even greater. It often requires a lot of heaven and earth energy to complete. There was once an alchemist who refined a grade 6 embryonic pill. When it first formed, it swallowed thousands of miles of spirit qi, causing the entire area to become barren and the spirit qi to dry up. It took 100 years for it to recover to its original state. But Lin Chen chose the craziest and most unbelievable method. He detonated the 10,000 pills and created a condition for the embryonic pill to swallow the energy. With his understanding of the energy composition of the 10,000 exploded divine elixir pills, he was able to quickly extract and refine the divine elixir pills into the embryonic pills according to what he wanted. He directly skipped the most difficult step of transforming a 6th grade divine elixir pill from an embryonic pill to a complete pill. Song Ilian was indeed worthy of being a modern alchemist. She instantly analyzed the meaning of Lin Chen's actions. That's right, the hunchbacked old man said solemnly, revealing a rare look of shock. Looking at all the participants of the Heaven's Choice Convention, including all the previous sessions, no alchemist has been able to refine a grade 6 sacred pill. Strictly speaking, Lin Chen can't do it either. From an ordinary alchemist's point of view, even if he has 6 clones that are comparable to his original body, it's almost impossible for him to refine a grade 6 sacred pill. But now, he's using the pills as medicine and refining pills. With the energy of 10,000 sacred pills, he skipped the most difficult part of refining a grade 6 embryonic pill and directly ascended from a peak grade 5 embryonic pill to a grade 6 sacred pill. This analysis made the superpowers on the monster genius list and grade 6 and grade 7 forces feel their scalps tingle. Refining pills with pills? There was such a method? This alchemy method was simply beyond the level of knowledge. Transforming a grade 5 embryonic pill directly into a grade 6 sacred pill? Such a crazy alchemy method was simply impossible for ordinary people to think of, and impossible to achieve. To refine 10,000 sacred pills, all of them had to come from a pill formula that the alchemist was extremely familiar with, and the alchemist had to have a perfect grasp of the energy structure of the sacred pill. It wasn't easy to use this method just by buying 10,000 sacred pills. Otherwise, one wouldn't even know how to spell the word death. Moreover, it required a huge and heaven-defying amount of mental strength. According to their understanding of the sacred pills, the energy produced by the explosion of the sacred pill required an extremely fast mental reaction to absorb this ready-made energy. Not to mention the massive amount of mental strength required to maintain this alchemy process. After a little closer inspection, everyone seemed to have awakened from a dream. So that's it. Why did Lin Chen crazily refine sacred pills before the Heaven's Choice Convention? It was all for this moment. Is he really human? What a godlike Lin Chen from the monster genius list. I'm sincerely convinced. This young man isn't just challenging a grade 6 sacred pill. He's completely creating a new era in the alchemy world. It's difficult to describe 1/10,000th of his brilliance as a monster. Perhaps it's more appropriate to call him a genius. In this world, how could anyone dare to try such a method that defies common sense? At this moment, whether it was Li Daoran from Qiandan Wanshou, Fei Lianxing from Hua Manlu, Old Man Hua from Qianyu, Xiao Huang from Huang Region, Wan Yunyu from Xuanyu, etc. All of the veteran saint-level alchemists, who were like Mount Tai and Big Dipper, had all conceded defeat. Refining pills with his gaze, refining pills with his pill. This young man's genius talent had completely convinced them. Regardless of whether Lin Chen succeeded in the end, at this moment, this group of proud alchemy masters were willing to call Lin Chen the strongest in the Heaven's Choice Convention. Chapter 1295. Even though the sky-bearing island was on the verge of collapsing due to the explosion, the other alchemists were in an indestructible spatial barrier. However, no matter who formed the pill, its power was less than 1% of Lin Chen's. It was completely overshadowed. The alchemist who produced the pill couldn't help but smile bitterly. Participating in the same Heaven's Choice Convention as this monster, even if they lost, they would lose convincingly. However, the energy of the embryonic pill was as terrifying as a small star core. It had already surpassed the 5th grade. Suddenly, a trembling energy fluctuation appeared in the 9-colored vortex. The elders of the jury were shocked. Not good, his spiritual power is unstable. Lin Chen's spiritual power is about to be exhausted. The hunchbacked elder exclaimed. Lin Chen's lips curled up, and his fingertips formed a seal. Behind Lin Chen, an illusory image that seemed to cover the heavens and earth suddenly rose up. The virtual image was 10,000 feet tall. It was half-human with a blue cape on its shoulders and a helmet on its head, hiding its true appearance. A pair of orange eyes flickered under the helmet. The virtual image attached itself to Lin Chen, and it was like an ancient god had descended. The virtual image put its palms together, and Lin Chen's body shone with an orange light. Lin Chen's control of the energy of the 10,000 pills instantly skyrocketed. Host has activated the orange grade innate skill, Supreme God Possession. 800,000 talent points have been consumed. Host's True Dragon Sacred Hand Alchemy imprint has obtained the Supreme God Possession type. It has an extreme mutation effect. At this moment, Lin Chen's True Dragon Sacred Hand, which was activated by his spiritual power, broke through the shackles and temporarily surpassed the limit. It displayed the effect of an orange-grade alchemy imprint. Roar, roar, roar. Streaks of true dragon chi bloomed from Lin Chen's main body and all his doppelgangers. They appeared out of thin air, and the wind and clouds in the sky changed directions. What kind of move is this? Look, the pill has been formed. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. Everyone kept exclaiming in shock. The wind and clouds above the sky-bearing island changed. The energy of 10,000 divine elixir pills had just finished exploding. The vortex disappeared, and all the energy was absorbed into a fiery red pill. The spirit aura of the fiery red pill turned into a human-shaped shadow. That appearance was somewhat similar to the supreme god that appeared behind Lin Chen. Spirit aura took form, and the saint ring appeared. 1, 3, 5. 5 saint rings were instantly formed. Whether it was sky-bearing island or sky-bearing city, everyone subconsciously held their breaths in fear of missing a single detail. Buzz. The energy vibrated violently, and the sixth holy halo began to form. Many experts and monstrous geniuses felt their hearts skip a beat, and their hearts trembled. Time seemed to have stopped. Finally, the white gold 6 saint ring was perfectly formed. Low-grade 6 saint pill. All of sky-bearing island and sky-bearing city fell into a short silence. Everyone stared blankly at the young man in the sky. As the energy of the divine elixir pills slowly dissipated, a faint 9-colored light shone on the young man's body like a rainbow bridge. 6 saint rings covered his head, and he looked handsome. The young man's handsome face had a wild but not conceited smile from beginning to end. He looked like a god that had descended to the mortal world. Many experts couldn't help but sigh. There was actually such an outstanding young man in this world. Zi Yunqing stared blankly at the young man shrouded in 9-colored light. He was dazed for a moment. He actually defeated the Clear Sky Saint King, and refined a grade 6 saint pill that even a Saint King can't refine. When he knew that his opponent was the Clear Sky Saint King, he couldn't even muster up any fighting spirit, let alone challenge him. How many people had dared to fight a Saint King head-on since ancient times? This brat has such ability and talent at such a young age. If given enough time, won't he become a supreme existence in this world? The Clear Sky Saint King's veins were bulging. This time, he had come personally to stop Lin Chen from having a fortuitous encounter in the Elixir region. Entering the Elixir region's Elder Guild would allow this brat to improve by leaps and bounds, forcing the Clear Sky Saint King to take action personally. Unexpectedly, he still couldn't suppress his strength. Grade 6 Saint Pill. Even the current Clear Sky Saint King couldn't refine a grade 6 Saint Pill. He was already a half-dead man, and his spiritual will was incomplete. It was impossible for him to support the refinement of a grade 6 Saint Pill. Fairy Scarlet stared at Lin Chen's back. As if she had made up her mind, her gaze became gentler. Song Ilian stared at Lin Chen as if she had discovered a new continent. This young man was too amazing. His whole body was full of secrets. She could even try to recreate or do better than the Clear Sky Sage King's alchemy methods, but she could not learn Lin Chen's pill explosion style at all. At this time, Lin Chen turned his head and looked in Zi Yunqing's direction. Under his gaze, Zi Yunqing, who had always been cold and arrogant, felt her heart skip a beat. Lin Chen smiled faintly, his demeanor dazzling as he laughed. "This is a surprise. Do you like it?" Zi Yunqing's heart suddenly tightened, and a faint blush appeared on her cold and beautiful cheeks. She actually panicked like a little girl. At this time, in the Purple Cloud King Valley's VIP seats behind Zi Yunqing, the beautiful and enchanting little demon empress gave him 2 thumbs up. She smiled happily, charming everyone as she shouted, "I like it very much. Lin Chen, you're too handsome." It wasn't until the little demon empress shouted excitedly that Zi Yunqing woke up from her daze. Her beautiful face turned pale, and her heart throbbed a few times. So, he wasn't talking to her when Zi Yunqing raised her hand to speak. Lin Chen had already turned around and retracted his gaze. From beginning to end, he hadn't looked at her directly. Zhi Yunqing bit her red lips tightly, and the stabbing pain in her heart became even more intense. Grade 6. How is this possible? Long Yijing knelt on the ground as if he had lost his soul. His eyes were dull and lifeless. Grade 6. In the entire history of the Long family, and even in the entire Long family, there were only 2 alchemists who could refine this grade. He was so much younger than himself, but he could actually refine a grade 6 sacred pill. This meant that whether it was alchemy or cultivation, he would never be able to surpass him in this lifetime. He would forever live in his shadow, and he wouldn't even be able to touch his back. The dim hexagonal light of the 32nd sacred point in Long Yijing's body suddenly became dim and incomparably stable. It would be extremely difficult for him to break through the next sacred point. Lin Chun had already become his inner demon on the path of cultivation. Most importantly, he would never be able to get close to the goddess of his dreams in this lifetime. Long Yijing, who couldn't take such a heavy blow, raised his head and spat out a large mouthful of blood. The Long family's followers instantly panicked. Quick! Young Master Yijing spat out blood. It might be an old injury. Young Master, you can't stop taking medicine. Song Ilian retracted her gaze and immediately levitated into the air. Her slender figure looked around at the restless crowd and transmitted her voice. There's only an hour left until the end of the Chosen One conference. All the alchemists have finished refining their pills. I hereby announce that the champion of the Chosen One conference is monster ranking Lin Chen. It wasn't until Song Ilian's announcement that the crowd finally snapped out of their daze. This was destined to be an unforgettable Chosen One conference. Lin Chen, the eternal lord of alchemy, reigned supreme. Chapter 1296. Champion Lin Chen? Oh my god! He actually defeated all the veteran alchemists. Even the Sage Kings were suppressed by him. This year's Heaven's Choice Convention is too rare. It's unprecedented. I won't have the chance to see it again. Sky-bearing Island and Sky-bearing City erupted into unprecedented discussions and cheers. Lin Chen's title as the champion was well-deserved. No one was unconvinced. My goddess has descended to the mortal world. Long Yishuan felt as if a knife had been twisted in his heart. How could he not know that Zhi Yunqing's heart had been moved at that moment? However, he accepted his defeat wholeheartedly. Just based on Lin Chen's performance just now, even he was mesmerized. Which woman wouldn't fall for him? After all, this man who could refine a grade 6 divine pill with just his gaze was too handsome. Poor Yijing. The geniuses on the monster rankings glanced at the unconscious Long Yijing and shook their heads. The agreement between him and Lin Chen was made clear at a glance. Long Yijing's 5-colored Dragon King ginseng was priceless and could only be found by chance. However, compared to a grade 6 sage alchemist, it wasn't even worth a mention. Even a grade 7 sect wouldn't dare to offend someone who could refine grade 6 divine pills. Just one chance to refine a pill was far more valuable than the 5-colored Dragon King ginseng. Lin Chen only needed to refine a pill once to create a divine pill that was more valuable than the 5-colored Dragon King ginseng. Without a doubt, Long Yijing was completely defeated. Looking at Lin Chen in the air, the elders of the jury exclaimed. Even for the knowledgeable elders of the jury, this was the most unforgettable Heaven's Choice Convention. Who could forget the amazing scene of tens of thousands of divine pills rising into the air at the sacred boundary? Song Ilian read out the rankings of this year's Heaven's Choice Convention. First place, Lin Chen. Second place, Dongfang Wuji. Third place, Zhi Yunqing. The fourth place went to Hua Manlu's Flying Refinement Saint after the evaluation of the elders of the jury. The top 5 could directly enter the Elixir Region's Elder Assembly. The top 10 could participate in the examination. However, the Alchemy Grandmasters could completely ignore the examination. It was the same as passing the examination. Becoming an elder of the Pil region's elder assembly meant that one's worth would increase exponentially. When Song Ilyan announced the top 10, Lin Chun waved his hand and retrieved his grade 6 sacred pill. He stood in the air and looked at the clear sky. Saint King. Sage King, if you want to mess with me next time, do it more directly. I like to be simple and violent. At most, I'll just punch you. Lin Chun purposely emphasized one punch. Clearly, the clear sky Sage King must have seen his battle god bracers in the realm tower that day. The meaning behind his words was very simple. If you dare to touch me, I'll give you a punch. Lin Chun was no longer the same as before. Facing the clear sky Sage King, he wouldn't be as weak and fearful as when he was the battle emperor. Unless his main body revived, Lin Chun could fight and run as he wished. Why would he be afraid? The clear sky Sage King's face twisted a few times. He was so angry that he laughed. Don't worry, I have plenty of chances to kill you. Lin Chun said indifferently. The enemy I killed last time said the same thing. All of the clones moved and collected the attribute light balls that were scattered in the void. Lin Chun secretly refined more than 10 long Qing fruits, and was on guard against the clear sky Saint King. Although the Heaven's Choice Convention prohibited private fights, the clear sky Sage King wasn't an ordinary sage. Who knew what kind of tricks this old fox would use? Ever since he saw through the clear sky Sage King's identity, Lin Chun was on guard against him even though he was in Sky-bearing City. Lin Chun's body started to feel weak, and he felt dizzy. His doppelganger protected him without batting an eyelid. Whoosh! At this moment, Fairy Crimson appeared beside Lin Chun. The clear sky Sage King narrowed his eyes. There was a rare trace of doubt in his eyes as he sized up Fairy Crimson. Don't worry, with me here, he won't dare to touch you. Fairy Crimson smiled confidently. Lin Chun couldn't help but wonder. Since when did they have such a good relationship? She was willing to offend the clear sky Sage King for him? This was unrealistic. Could it be that he had surpassed that man and finally reached the realm of being the most handsome and loved by everyone? So annoying. Not only Fairy Crimson, but even Song Ilyan also surrounded Lin Chun after announcing the results, afraid that something would happen to him. Right, the champion's reward. Before Lin Chun could finish speaking, his dried-up spiritual sea finally dimmed. His head fell and he fainted. He had already reached his limit and was holding on with his last breath. Class leader, Lin Chun. Han Yizhi and the others rushed forward. Lin Chun had been unconscious for a long time, but he felt inexplicably comfortable. The back of his head seemed to be resting on a soft and bouncy treasure, which made him very comfortable. After a long time, he vaguely heard a voice. Why has he been unconscious for so long? Will he be okay? Will there be any sequelae left in the class leader? Refining a 6th grade sacred pill is a bit too much. Hearing Han Yizhi's worried voice, Lin Chun opened his eyes. The first thing he saw when he opened his eyes was 2 beautiful crimson arcs that were round and full came into view. Lin Shui couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. He got up and bumped into a raging wave. What a big weapon! Who dares to do this to me? Lin Chun almost subconsciously took out his king of 10,000 dragons to protect his master. Who dares to do this to you? You're well protected now. Jian Qingqing snorted, her voice carrying a trace of jealousy. Only then did Lin Chun realize that he was in an extremely high-class and beautifully decorated room. Han Yizhi and Jian Qingqing were beside the bed, and the people from Purple Cloud King Valley were sitting in the living room. When they heard Lin Chun's voice, they immediately stood up. Lin Chun was a little incredulous. The person sitting at the head of the bed was actually Fairy Scarlet? And just now it was her lap pillow? What happened? Lin Chun shook his head. His mind was in a mess, and he couldn't come back to his senses. Could it be that he had already done it? No way. Why didn't he have any memory or feeling? He had to do it again. Congratulations, Lin Chun. You've become the champion of heaven's choice. This old man really admires you from the bottom of my heart." The elders of Purple Cloud King Valley cupped their fists and smiled. The little demon empress at the side opened her cherry lips slightly, biting a long kingwo with her white teeth. Her smile was full of ridicule. "Great champion, you've finally woken up. Pill Region's head elder Song Ilian is guarding outside the door, and Crimson Hall's guest elder Fairy Scarlet is protecting you. You're really something." Lin Chun finally remembered everything. He couldn't be bothered to joke with the little demon empress, and anxiously said, "Where's my champion's reward?" Everyone was speechless. This kid usually flirted with girls, but how could he be so calm right now? There were so many beauties gathered around him, and he didn't have any thoughts at all? How could Lin Chun not be anxious? This was related to his God of War component. He could only be free if he was alive. "Don't worry." The door was pushed open, and Song Ilian, wearing an elegant and noble green dress, waved the storage ring on her delicate hand. "Your champion's reward is all here. No one will take it." Chapter 1297. Lin Chun took the storage ring and scanned it with his consciousness. In the storage ring there was a scroll of alchemy handprints, a wind and fire element mid-grade odd crystal, and a mid-grade spirit plant seed of luck. The value of these prizes was heaven-defying. Just that scroll of orange-grade alchemy handprints was enough to influence the development of a 6th-grade sect. However, Lin Chun's focus wasn't on these. What about the 9th-grade sacred ore? Lin Chun was taken aback and asked. Song Ilian smiled. "Of course it will be given to you, but the champion has to choose it himself. You've been in a coma recently, we can't carry you to choose, right?" Lin Chun asked again. Then, "Does the Elders Guild's Mystic Realm have a metal-type 9th-grade sacred ore?" Song Ilian pondered for a moment before answering. "Yes, other than the light and darkness sacred ores, there are all 5 elements, but you can only choose one. The energy and volume of each sacred ore are different, and the value is also different. You have to weigh it yourself." Lin Chun heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that there was such an item. As long as he had it, his trip would be meaningful. Song Ilian's eyes flickered with a strange light as she continued, "You've been in a coma for 4 days and 4 nights, rest up first. What about the clear sky Holy King?" Lin Chun suddenly thought of his number 1 enemy and asked seriously. "He left." Song Ilian's face suddenly turned serious. "He left without even receiving the reward. I think he doesn't care about our reward with his status. Maybe he came for you." That day, a mighty figure of the Pill region appeared and expressed the attitude of the Pill region. But fortunately, he seemed to have some considerations and didn't dare to make a move. If it was the Holy King at his peak, we wouldn't be able to stop him. "Lin Chun, the only way to ensure your safety is to join the Elders Guild." Song Ilian's eyes lit up when she talked about this. The Heaven's chosen champion isn't enough to intimidate the clear sky Holy King. The only way to ensure your safety is to join the Elders Guild and cultivate and research alchemy in the Pill region. If you're a member of the Elders Guild, the Pill region will protect you, and even the clear sky Holy King won't dare to touch you. Lin Chun shook his head and laughed. Forget it, then he would have to stay in the Pill domain. Although the Pill domain was vast and it would take him a few years to go around the Pill domain, if he really wanted to ensure his safety, he would have to stay in the Elders Guild's upper echelons area. Wouldn't that lock him in here forever? Even if I join the Elder Council, I won't just sit here and wait for death. A dead Saint King, do I still need to be afraid of him? If he dares to come find me, I'll make him lose a few teeth even if I have to risk my life. No matter what schemes he has up his sleeves, I'll just surpass him in the next few days." As Lin Chun talked and laughed, the spirit he exuded caused even the Violet Cloud King Valley to raise their eyebrows. Song Ilian was moved. Surpassing Saint Kings. If these words were spoken by any other monster, the world would laugh at them. However, these words were spoken by Lin Chen, who had fought against a holy king. They were so convincing. That's good. If you need to buy medicinal herbs to heal your injuries, just tell the elders of the Sky-Bearing Pavilion. Remember that there will be an Elders Award ceremony in 4 days. As the champion, you can't miss it. After Song Ilian finished speaking, she slowly left. Why do I feel that Senior Song's gaze is a little strange when he looks at the class monitor? Han Yiji muttered. The little demon empress stretched her waist, revealing her enchanting and hot figure. She jokingly said, "Who told him to use his gaze to refine pills? It's so flirtatious. I can't wait to catch him and study him. I'm just afraid that a certain handsome guy won't be able to control himself." The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. When he looked at Fairy Crimson, he said, "Well, how long do you want to stay in bed?" Fairy Crimson smiled sweetly. "Young master, when you were unconscious, you kept calling me Sister Royan and Teacher Yuchi. You even hugged me and wouldn't let me go." Cough, cough, cough. Lin Chen's face turned red. He had to change this bad habit. After a brief understanding of the situation after the competition, everyone tactfully gave Lin Chen some time to recover. Lin Chen rubbed his temples. His mental strength was still in a dry and sleepy state. This alchemy was the hardest he had ever worked in his life. 99% of the 10,000 divine elixir pills he used were first-grade divine elixir pills. Lin Chen used the roaming god fruit and Old Shen's cooperation to ask the alchemists in the Realm Tower to help him refine them. No matter how heaven-defying Lin Chen was, it was impossible for him to cultivate his spiritual force and break through to the next realm within a month before the Heaven's Choice meeting. He also had to painstakingly refine pills and prepare 10,000 saint pills at the same time. There was no time at all. The temporary pill formulas for the 10,000 sacred pills were provided by Lin Chen. These pill formulas were all pills he had refined in the past, so he was very familiar with them. If it was only a first-grade sacred pill, the high-end alchemists of the Realm Tower could accurately refine it according to Lin Chen's requirements. The main explosive energy came from the 4th-grade and 3rd-grade sacred pills that Lin Chen had personally refined. If it weren't for the roaming god fruit and the sale of the plant of providence seeds, he wouldn't have dared to squander them like this. The price of refining a 6th-grade sacred pill was enough to make a 5th-grade sect go half bankrupt. This 6th-grade pill formula was personally engraved by Old Shen for Lin Chen. With his status, he couldn't easily give out a 6th-grade pill formula. Lin Chen could be considered to have owed Old Shen a favor. "Fortunately, I have the roaming god fruit." Lin Chen's mental strength quickly recovered as he swallowed a dozen roaming god fruit. His phantom doppelganger also activated a mental cultivation method to absorb a huge amount of mental strength. Lin Chen's mental strength activated the clear snow plant pouch, and a pink light flashed. A huge holy peach of immortality floated above his palm, and the refreshing fragrance of the peach instantly filled the room. Lin Chen finished a sacred immortality peach in a few mouthfuls. His saint acupoints shone brightly, and the feeling of weakness in his body quickly gave birth to new strength and vitality. Lin Chen's 22nd saint acupoint started to loosen. The sacred immortality peach had the effect of breaking through bottlenecks, strengthening one's foundation, and nourishing one's saint body. Lin Chen's foundation was firm, and he had gone all out to refine the sacred pills. His mental strength, cultivation, and saint body had all reached a critical point, and the benefits of breaking through his limits could be seen immediately. 3 days later, after Lin Chen ate his second sacred immortality peach, a cracking sound rang out, and a terrifying aura swept through the entire room. Lin Chen's 22nd saint acupoint was opened. 22 hexagonal stars turned into dazzling stars that flickered in Lin Chen's body. Lin Chen had opened another saint acupoint. The effects of the holy immortality peach are truly wondrous. The only drawback is that it cannot be mass-produced. Even if it reaches its peak, only 3 holy immortality peaches can be produced in 1 month if it is not watered with a large amount of Tiani holy water. The effects will be even better if it is consumed at a critical moment after exceeding its limit. When Lin Chen stopped cultivating, he was full of energy, and his whole body felt refreshed. He had recovered perfectly, and he had even surpassed his peak state. With the help of his doppelganger, Lin Chen's recovery speed was terrifyingly fast. It's time to get my reward. Chapter 1298. Lin Chen left the secret room and found himself in an ancient pagoda. An elder had been waiting for him for a long time. The elder cupped his fists towards Lin Chen and smiled. Congratulations to Lin Chen for becoming the Heaven's Choice Champion. This old man is sincerely convinced. The Elder Council's ceremony is here, please follow this old man. Lin Chen nodded and smiled. Thank you for your trouble. At this time, a faint fragrance lingered in the passageway. An icy beauty in a light blue dress with her hair tied up was elegant and dignified. She was devastatingly beautiful. Together? I also want to participate in the Elder Council's ceremony. It was Zi Yunqing. Looking at her appearance, she seemed to have carefully dressed up. Up to you. Lin Chen smiled indifferently. The elder respectfully led the way in front. From time to time, he would glance at the two out of the corner of his eyes. The more he looked, the more he felt that the two were a perfect match. Lin Chen and Princess Zi Yunqing represented the 2 peak alchemists of the younger generation. If these 2 could be brought together to join the Elder Council, then the Elder Council's future potential would be even more promising. On the way, Lin Chen would occasionally receive the envious gazes and congratulations of many alchemists in the ancient pagoda. Zi Yunqing awkwardly struck up a conversation with Lin Chen. As proud as she was, she almost never took the initiative to strike up a conversation with a man of the same age. However, a certain Lin Chen casually mentioned the astral travel fruit and didn't take her seriously at all. At the top floor of the ancient pagoda, when the door was pushed open, many top alchemists of the Pill domain were gathered in the main hall. The elders of the jury, Song Ilian, the top 10 alchemists, and 2 amiable old men were present. Ha ha ha, our champion has arrived. A 6th grade pill, defeating the will of a saint king. Lin Chen is truly someone this old man admires. A white-clothed old man with a transcendent aura took the initiative to shake hands with Lin Chen. This person's mental energy fluctuations were even more terrifying than the hunchbacked old man's. He was an alchemist on the same level as Song Ilian. All the veteran alchemists in the main hall didn't look at Lin Chen with hostility, only admiration and reverence. This was an absolute submission that originated from strength. If Lin Chen's alchemy skills were at the same level as theirs, perhaps they would admire this young man very much, but he far surpassed them. In terms of alchemy skills, they respectfully addressed Lin Chen as senior, and it was not excessive. After chatting with Lin Chen for a while, everyone was led to a secret room in an ancient pagoda by the Pill region's elder. The secret chamber was a space of its own, and there were actually 3 pavilions inside. Song Ilian, the leader of the group, spoke as they walked. Everyone, since you have joined the Pill region's Elder Guild, you must abide by the rules of the Elder Guild. Naturally, the sect and power you belong to will not change. However, the Elder Guild's information on alchemy is limited to personal learning and is strictly prohibited from spreading it to others. Those who violate this rule will be crippled of their alchemy skills, while those who violate this rule will be punished by the elders themselves. I hope everyone knows this. In addition, if you have any new alchemy experience or skills, share them with the Elders Guild, and you will be rewarded with new contribution points. Everyone understood Song Ilian's words. The foundation of the Pill region's Elder Guild could not be spread to others. If it was spread, the Elders Guild would use all kinds of methods to get back the money with interest. The white-robed old man stroked his beard and smiled. Among the 3 pavilions, the Heaven Pavilion requires you to become an external elder and have enough contribution points to enter. After speaking, he led everyone into the Human Pavilion, which contained tens of thousands of alchemy books and hundreds of types of alchemy recipes. Each scroll was a priceless treasure. It contained the alchemy experience or general guidelines of alchemy from the Pill region's sage-level alchemists. System: how many cultivation technique soul essences do I need to inscribe all the alchemy books in the Human Pavilion? Lin Chun transmitted his voice to the system. To others, the alchemy books they could choose from were limited, but to him, as long as he had enough cultivation technique soul essences, he could inscribe all of them and enter the system to slowly learn them. System notification: inscribing all the alchemy books in the pavilion requires 137 million high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. The host currently has 78.6 million high-grade cultivation technique soul essences attribute point. It is not enough to inscribe all the alchemy book. Host, please choose and confirm. The system's reply moved Lin Chen. How many top-notch alchemists' experiences and top-notch alchemy recipes were stored here? Lin Chen cultivated an orange-level cultivation technique, but it only cost a few 100,000 high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. All of them added up to more than 100 million? Song Ilian turned to Lin Chen and said, Lin Chen, Zi Yunqing, you two follow me. The top 3 can enter the Earth Pavilion. Zi Yunqing and Lin Chen were led to an even deeper pavilion. There were only 3 floors and it was covered in dust. However, the space barrier around each counter was extremely powerful. This is the Earth Pavilion. You can choose any alchemy book you want, or you can contribute your alchemy experience. According to our review, you will be given the corresponding contribution points. Song Ilian looked at Lin Chen and said, if you contribute your knowledge of pill refinement to the Elder Council, you might be included in the Heaven Pavilion. The contribution points you'll receive will be more than a few stars. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. No, other than me, no one can use it. That's not necessarily true. Song Ilian stared at Lin Chen angrily. The system replies to the host. Collecting all the alchemy books in the pavilion requires 3.9 billion high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. At this time, the system's reply made Lin Chen's mouth twitch. No wonder so many alchemy grandmasters wanted to enter the Elder Council. This foundation was really terrifying. Even if he had the opportunity to enter, he wouldn't be able to take all the alchemy books and recipes here. Lin Chen and Zi Yunqing could only choose one alchemy book or recipe each. Zi Yunqing chose the 10 Sons Absolute Manual, a 6th-grade Saint-level alchemist's experience. Lin Chen chose the 6th-grade Saint-level pill recipe 9 Elements Extreme Rotation Pill. The pill recipe needed to be collected with blood and could not be leaked. Violators would be dealt with according to the Elder Council's rules. 69 million high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. 1 copy of the Pill Saint's experience and 3 scrolls of 6th-grade Saint-level pill recipes have been recorded. A ray of light entered Lin Chen's forehead. Lin Chen had already recorded more 6th-grade pill recipes in secret. According to the rules, you should be a managing elder. However, according to the 2 elders, we'll make an exception and promote you to a guest elder. You don't need to be in charge of anything in the Elder Council. You can come and go as you please. Song Ilian's slender hand grabbed Lin Chen's palm, her fingertips moving swiftly as she drew a golden rune with Lin Chen's name engraved on it. As long as she activated her saint energy, it would appear. This is the mark of a guest elder. Remember to come to the Elixir region more often. Song Ilian seemed to know Lin Chen's temperament very well. He was surprised that she didn't force him to become a managing elder. Zi Yunqing looked at the 2 of them with a strange gaze. This kind of treatment where he could pull up his pants and leave as long as he took his name, enjoyed his blessings, and did not let him down was very much to his liking. However, as long as Lin Chun had the ability, he would help the Elder Council if they were in trouble in the future. Lin Chun cupped his fists and smiled. Thank you so much, Beauty Song. Thank you, but you don't have to say it. Song Ilian stared at Lin Chun with a burning gaze. Lin Chun was shocked. What is she trying to do? No, I'm still just a handsome guy. Chapter 1299. The book that Lin Chun had chosen to record was probably a secret alchemy manual left behind by one of the most special alchemists in the Earth Pavilion. The Pill Saint of Hades was a madman of his generation. His alchemy direction was to surpass the limits of one's life in exchange for temporary strength. There were even a few volumes of pill recipes mixed in with the general outline. Because the direction of his alchemy was too brutal and cruel, not many alchemy grandmasters would choose his alchemy manuals, so they were always left empty. Who would have the time to study alchemy that squeezed one's life force in exchange for temporary strength? Wouldn't it be better to study alchemy that could increase one's lifespan and cultivation level? However, this alchemy manual was miraculous for Lin Chun, because his doppelganger was not afraid of death. It could endure all kinds of cruel alchemy masters. This was no less than Lin Chun obtaining a trump card of the alchemy faculty. In the future, his doppelganger could directly consume pills and fight to the death with the opponent. It could even make the opponent's scalp numb. Song Ilian looked away and said indifferently, "I'll bring you to receive the champion's reward." Song Ilian flicked her finger, and a whirlpool appeared in the Earth Pavilion. A brand new world appeared inside. It was a golden mountain range and heaven and earth. Holy items and treasures were piled up like a mountain. Lin Chun was shocked. The Myriad Treasures Secret Realm was one of the secret realms of the Elixir Region's Elders Guild. No saint could remain calm in the face of such abundant treasures. However, in the next moment, Lin Chun's expression changed again. In the Myriad Treasures Secret Realm, there was a faint orange elemental glow. There's a new elemental talent in the secret realm. It's at least at the orange level. Lin Chun was shocked and his face was burning with passion. Song Ilian carried Lin Chun and disappeared into the void. She entered the Myriad Treasures secret domain, leaving behind Zi Yunqing, who was in a daze. In the Myriad Treasures secret realm, the golden afterglow illuminated the heaven and earth like a beautiful scenery. There are 108th grade holy items, the glazed moon heart fruit. This lake is full of yin-yang dragon springs. And this thick black rock that's as big as a mountain is actually a 6th grade or the 9 heavens thunderstone? Lin Chun was stunned. What kind of place was this? His breathing couldn't help but quicken, and even the little shadow in Qing Shue's plant pouch began to stir. After Little Shadow cultivated for a few times, ordinary pills and saint items could no longer satisfy him. The resources in the Myriad Treasures secret realm were too abundant. Compared to it, Lin Chun's current net worth was just a drop in the ocean. Not even a strand of hair. You like it here? Why don't you join our Elder Council and specialize in alchemy with me? I guarantee that you'll have enough contribution points to come here and choose treasures every year. Song Ilian's voice was crisp and graceful, moving and full of temptation. Lin Chun swallowed his saliva with difficulty. Seeing him like this, Song Ilian's lips curled up and she continued to tempt him. With your talent, staying in the Elder Council is the fastest way to become a 7th grade saint alchemist. A 7th grade alchemist means that you'll be the most respected person in the entire sacred boundary, no matter where you go. You'll be able to obtain beautiful women, cultivation resources, and a huge sect easily. Song Ilian's voice was soft and gentle, like a beautiful body on the bed, teasing Lin Chun, who had been single for 10,000 years. However, the truth was that Lin Chun didn't care about her at all. The reason why he was tempted was not because of Song Ilian's conditions, but because of Lin Chun's decomposition ability. Although every treasure in the myriad treasures' secret realm had a spatial enchantment, Lin Chun could still decompose them. How many attribute points would he get if he decomposed the myriad treasures' secret realm? He didn't dare to think about it. Brother Chun, you have to calm down. Calm down. If I take everything here, I'll become the most wanted criminal in the Dan region. Lin Chun forcefully suppressed his impulse, and even used his will to suppress Little Shadow as well. Offending the Elder Council of the Dan region was even more terrifying than offending the Clear Sky Sage King. The treasure was right in front of him, but he couldn't touch it. Lin Chun felt very uncomfortable. Seeing Lin Chun calm down so quickly, Song Ilyan couldn't help but be surprised. One had to know that among the past champions of the Heaven's Choice Convention, very few could resist the temptation of the myriad treasures' secret realm. It was because of their high attainments in alchemy that they could understand the preciousness of the myriad treasures' secret realm. Some of the treasures were already extinct in the sacred boundary. Lin Chun wasn't moved at all? What a strong state of mind. Senior Song, a man's ambition is to travel far and wide. I've made up my mind. Lead the way. Among the 5 elements Saint Ores, I choose the 9th grade metal Saint Ores. Lin Chun said calmly. No matter how many treasures there were, they were not as important as his god of war component. Song Ilyan didn't say anything. She looked deeply at Lin Chun and personally led the way, bringing Lin Chun to the easternmost part of the myriad treasures' secret realm. There was a golden pool here, and there was a golden mountain hidden in the pool. The mysterious thing was that the golden pool was filled with metal chi. The slightest touch would cause one to feel as if they were cut by thousands of blades. Especially that miniature golden mountain, Lin Chun could feel a glaring sharpness through the spatial barrier. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Chun was shocked. If he could throw this thing at his opponent during a battle, he might be able to severely injure a 5th-level sage. This was the raw material to forge a 9th-grade Saint artifact. This is the only 9th-grade metal Saint Ores in the myriad treasures' secret realm. Song Ilyan waved her hand, and the spatial barrier was removed. The golden pool quickly shrank into her palm. This miniature golden mountain contained more than 5 cubic meters of 9th-grade metal Saint Ores, just enough to meet Lin Chun's requirements. Song Ilyan's cultivation was high, and she gave the golden pool to Lin Chun along with the seal. I've finally got it. Next, as long as I have enough 2nd-grade Saint artifacts, I will be able to have 3 parts of the Aries set at the same time. Lin Chun was overjoyed. When he kept the golden pool and put it into Qing Shui's pouch, the entire myriad treasures' secret realm suddenly shook. Not good. Someone is attacking. When the 2 old men's voices entered the myriad treasures' secret realm, Lin Chun and Song Ilyan were instantly on guard. Who dared to come to the elixir region to cause trouble? Lin Chun, oh Lin Chun, you are the first young man I have taken seriously. I hope you can die a little more thoroughly this time. When the cold and majestic voice sounded, Lin Chun and Song Ilyan's expressions changed. It's him? Clear Sky Sage King. Rumble. A spatial crack was torn open in the myriad treasures' secret realm. Demonic chi and murderous aura filled the air. 6 figures walked out of the spatial crack slowly. The one in the lead was the Clear Sky Sage King, who possessed Dongfang Wuji's spiritual consciousness. Behind him, other than a young man with an ancient aura, there were 4 dark-skinned, 8-zhang-tall demonic figures. They had horns on their heads, and a long black tail swayed behind their backs. As they swayed, they shattered the void. Their thick arms were covered with barbs, and their sharp teeth were stained with sticky blood. Their blood-red eyes were filled with murderous aura, and their twisted faces were filled with murderous intent and evil laughter. They were demons. Moreover, compared to the demon king that Lin Chun saw in the 9 States Continent's Firmament Tower, they were many times more powerful. 4 high-level Saint Demon Kings. Clear Sky Sage King, you are really willing to take action. Lin Chun connected the two parts of the Aries set at once. If there were any unforeseen circumstances, he would attack with all his might. Chapter 1300. Annoying brat, let's see if you can still laugh in another quarter of an hour. The clear sky holy king laughed in anger when he saw Lin Chen's carefree attitude. Song Ilian waved her hand and ripples appeared in space. However, she couldn't tear it apart. Her expression changed, and she quickly used the Pill region's Elder Seal to transmit a message. Elders, what's the situation outside? The space has been sealed. We're calling for the Heavens Punishment Hall's elders. Song Ilian's heart sank when she heard the Elder's Seal's message. This was going to be a tough battle. She had no problem protecting herself, but it was extremely difficult to protect Lin Chen. The most important thing was that there were 4 high-level Holy Devil Kings on the other side, and each of them was at least at the peak of the 6th Heaven True Saint realm. She had heard about the Clear Sky Holy King, and there was a high possibility that he was colluding with the Devil race. However, she had never thought that the Clear Sky Holy King would be so powerful with just a wisp of his spiritual will. 1. The Clear Sky Holy King formed a seal, and a dark green holy light shot out from his palm and disappeared. The dark green light enveloped the entire Myriad Treasure's secret domain, and even Song Ilian's Elder Seal lost its effect. In terms of mastery of space, none of the living beings present could compare to the Clear Sky Holy King. He wants to completely seal this space, so that even the elders of the Elder Council won't be able to enter. Once he succeeds, we'll have no chance at all. I'll try to hold back the 4 Holy Demon Kings. Your only opponent is that young man for now. If necessary, you have to prepare to self-destruct. I'll use the Elder Imprint as a spatial tunnel and see if I can send your consciousness out. This is the only way for you to survive. Song Ilian said solemnly as she stood beside Lin Chen. That day at the Pill Region's competition venue, the elders of the jury and various forces had been present. Even the Clear Sky Holy King couldn't suppress Huang Xiaolong. He was certain that Lin Chen would enter the Myriad Treasure's secret domain after winning the competition. This was the best time to ambush him. Before Lin Chen could reply, the Clear Sky Holy King turned to the 4 high-level Holy Devil Kings beside him. The 4 of you do it. After you're done, the treasures in this space will be your reward. This king will personally remove the space barrier around the treasures here. The 4 Holy Demon Kings cackled evilly. Thank you, Holy King. The king was right. You are the most sincere friend of the demon race. That woman, I'll take her. I can ask for less treasures, but I want to devour her spiritual power. The Saint Demon Kings moved, and their demonic aura surged. Their speed was so fast that it created a turbulent airflow. Hurricanes swept out in all directions, and the space was torn apart like a giant python. It tore open a spatial crack that was as deep as the abyss, and it attacked Lin Chen and Mo Wuji. Whoosh! Boom! Boom! A crimson rainbow, like a crescent moon, actually swept out from the clear snow plant pouch at Lin Chen's waist, shaking the heavens. The 4 Holy Demon Kings paused for a moment and each struck out with their palms, crushing the crimson rainbow head-on. The humans also have helpers? The 4 Demon Kings were shocked. Even Lin Chen didn't expect this situation. While Clear Sky Sacred King sealed the space, he couldn't help but look in Lin Chen's direction. His eyes were filled with astonishment. There's such a thing? He saw a beautiful woman in a crimson dress. Her hair was like a waterfall, and her beautiful eyes were like rippling waves. She was otherworldly and elegant. There was an enchanting charm between her brows, and the corners of her lips curled upward. I didn't expect that a Saint King would have to collude with the demons to attack a young man. The Crimson Beauty smiled gently, and her every move was as graceful as a fairy's. Lin Chen was shocked. Fairy Crimson? How did she come in? Although Clear Sky Sacred King was far from his peak strength, The Elixir Region's elders outside couldn't come in. Your holy immortality peach seed was given to you by me. How could I not have some backup plans? Fairy Crimson chuckled, and only then did Lin Chen come back to his senses. Her original body was a spiritual plant of providence, and she had a wonderful relationship with other spiritual plants of providence. Perhaps it was because of this relationship that she could bypass Clear Sky Sacred King's restrictions. You really are a living person. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. Clear Sky Sacred King's gaze suddenly became puzzled and strange. You're not human? Fairy Crimson smiled and said, Senior Sacred King, why are you still scolding me? Song Ilian calmed down a little. Although Fairy Crimson's aura was very strange, with her help, the situation this time wasn't the most desperate yet. Roar. I'm not afraid no matter how many people come, I'll devour them all. The 4 demon kings roared and instantly rushed toward the 2 women. One of the demon kings rushed toward Lin Chen. Song Ilian immediately sent a telepathic message. Friend, I'll hold back the 3 saint demon kings. As for the rest, Fairy Crimson said calmly, let's split them evenly. The 2 women instantly turned into a beam of light and collided with the 4 demon kings like a flash of light. 2 saint auras rose in the myriad treasures' secret realm like the sun, shaking the entire existential plane. Before the battle began, Fairy Crimson flicked her finger and sent Lin Chen thousands of miles away. Even so, Lin Chen was still pushed back thousands of miles by the aura of the 6 Supreme Masters, all the way to the southernmost part of the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. This aura was even more terrifying than that of Lin Xingchen, who was injured by him that day. He wasn't in a hurry to reveal his trump card at all. Instead, he looked at the young figure in the void. Lin Chen suddenly smiled at the cold and indifferent young man. Aren't you afraid of death fighting me? The black-robed young man laughed disdainfully. I bet you can't bring out the strength you had that day in the Realm Tower. Lin Chen was stunned. Why did this line sound so familiar? Could you be Yan Shuangying? You bet that I don't have any bullets? Lin Chen, remember my name, Mo Jui. I'm the one who's going to kill you. Mo Jui sneered, and when his shoulders shook, the world lost its color. 3 dark demonic wheels rose behind his head, and demonic aura surged, transforming into a 3-headed, 9-armed demon. However, there were 35 glowing saint points in his body, and his holy power and demonic aura coexisted as one. Lin Chen, do you know what it means to be a supreme being? I, Mo Jui, am a dual cultivator of both human and demon. With the help of the Sage King, I'll expand my acupoints 29 times. Today, I'll show you what it means to be the Chosen One. 29 times expansion. Even the standard of the genius roll was 15 times expansion, which was already the top result in the human race's 36 domains in the sacred boundary. Even if the genius roll could surpass the first expansion, it wouldn't be by too much. This Mo Jui was indeed ridiculously strong. Mo Jui sneered and stretched out his demonic palm. It was as if thousands of demons were howling in the sky, and the demonic aura in the world surged. His right fist was like a giant made of holy light, and he struck in Lin Chen's direction with a backhand. His red fist shone with holy light as it blasted toward Lin Chen. The fist and palm combined the ultimate techniques of both human and demon. A murderous aura enveloped Lin Chen. What a dual cultivator of both human and demon. Let me give you a slash. Clang. Lin Chen wasn't afraid at all. He drew his saber and slashed horizontally, using flickering light split shadows and God's tear. 5 layers of rapidly spinning saber aura swept across the sky, and when it slashed toward Mo Jui, the saber aura exploded. Bang! 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 The saber aura fragments in the sky swept toward Mo Jui like a hurricane, and layers of spear shadows danced like dragons. As the sword aura slashed horizontally, Mo Jui's fist and palm were turned into energy explosions. Mo Jui's expression changed slightly. Chapter 1301. How can his saint power be so strong? While Mo Jiuyi was still in shock, Lin Chen stood on the head of the Saint Dragon with the phoenix spear on his shoulder. His battle-intent soared without any fear. His 6 clones were either standing with their hands on their sabers or carrying bows and swords on their back. They were extraordinarily handsome. What was even more terrifying was that when Lin Chen and his clones had 22 sacred points, there were more than 36 odd crystals that shone brightly on his body like stars. 36 odd crystals? Aren't you in the 3rd heaven true saint realm? How can you be so strong without that vambrace? While Mo Jiuyi was still in shock, Lin Chen responded with an attack. True Dragon Dance. Lin Chen activated instant light clone technique and pulled out layers of spear shadows. Like a group of dancing dragons, he killed all of Mo Jiuyi's escape routes. Demon Devour. Demonic chi rose and turned into a bloody mouth that swallowed Lin Chen's spear. Heaven and earth changed drastically. The waves surged and flooded the entire sky, forming 5 water heavenly prisons, trapping Mo Jiuyi within. Powerful divine ability, but weak cultivation. Break. The Saint Point's holy light turned into a long sword that slashed horizontally. With a grab of demonic chi, it instantly crushed the Saint Dragon's extreme prison heavenly prison. Although the Saint Dragon's extraordinary divine ability was strong, it depended on one's cultivation. Mo Jiuyi had 35 Saint Points and had expanded them 8 times. Each expansion was 29 to 30 times. He could erupt with more than 70 billion dragon power points, not to mention that he cultivated both the human and demon Tao. The Saint Dragon only had 2 billion dragon veins, so 20 billion dragon power points was nothing in front of him. Before he could break free, the extreme prison heavenly prison was just a feint from Lin Chen. The moment the heavenly prison was broken, an endless dragon roar tore through the sky. Just as Mo Jiuyi was about to retreat, his eyes trembled. In the space in front of his eyes, giant spirit dragons, burning with burning flames, rose from the heads of his 6 avatars. 8 Division Burning Dragon Roar. This was a rare orange-rank spiritual cultivation technique. After Lin Chen broke through to the late-stage Saint Realm, he could perfectly display its power. Roar, roar, roar. Furthermore, when he activated Instant Light Doppelganger, the sound waves of each doppelganger's 8 spirit-burning dragons changed from 1 to 5, and their roars shattered the continental plates. The dragon's roar shattered heaven and earth, shaking the galaxy with a single roar. The terrifying sound waves of the mental attack swept through the southernmost region of the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. The airflow collapsed and the light dimmed. Bang, bang, bang. Demonic chi exploded all over Mo Jiuyi's body, and his holy light dimmed. That roar had shattered his demonic chi and dimmed his holy light. As he retreated, Mo Jiuyi was almost seriously injured. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and a burning sensation spread through his spiritual sea. This mental burn can't be healed? While Mo Jiuyi was still recovering from his shock, Lin Chen's 6 doppelgangers swarmed forward, forcing Mo Jiuyi to ignore his injuries and engage in a fierce battle with Lin Chen's doppelgangers. Demonic energy surged and holy light exploded. The 2 sides fought from the sky to the ground. Everywhere they passed, there would be an explosion of boundless energy waves. The strength of the battle was simply beyond common sense. That's impossible. My demonic chi is nourished by a high-level holy demon king, and the number of acupoints I expanded is far beyond the ordinary monstrous talents list. Even an early-stage 5th heaven sage is no match for me. This guy is just a 3rd heaven sage. How can he fight with me? His holy power is so strong that it doesn't seem like a 3rd heaven sage at all. The more Mo Jiuyi fought, the more shocked he became. Was this guy really human? All of the doppelgangers' holy acupoints were like stars in the sky, and every move they made was close to the late-stage fourth heaven sage realm. Was this the power of a sage with 22 holy acupoints? What a joke! With the passive talent of Supreme God Possession and the Tai Sky Concealment Technique, Lin Chen's holy acupoints were at least 4 times stronger than others. With 22 holy acupoints, an ordinary sage would only have a destructive power of 4 billion dragon power point. However, Lin Chen could cause a destructive power of 20 billion dragon power point. Not to mention, he had the power of 36 odd crystals and a powerful spiritual sea. Bang! Bang! Even though the doppelgangers fought with their lives, they only caused minor injuries to Mo Jiuyi. Mo Jiuye's demonic qi still destroyed 3 of his doppelgangers. In terms of cultivation realm, there was an absolute gap between the two. Whoosh! Lin Chen's main body appeared above Mo Jiuye's head, and the 9-colored star in his palm revolved with a destructive aura. All of his holy power was injected into 33 odd crystals. 4 of them were mid-grade odd crystals, and their power was like the condensation of star cores. The aura was earth-shattering. Rumble! Behind Lin Chen, the majestic silhouette of the Supreme God appeared once more. Host has activated the active effect of instant light split shadows and Supreme God Possession. 600,000 talent points have been used to activate the extreme mutation effect. With Supreme God Possession, the 9-colored star was added with a hazy purple light. Go! Lin Chen laughed and swung the 9-colored star in his palm. It turned into 5 streaks of 9-colored auroras and shot towards Mo Jiuyi. Mo Jiuyi immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and grabbed it. The holy power in his holy acupoints was rapidly depleted, and his demonic qi surged as though it was being devoured by the demonic qi. Bloodthirsty Ghost Technique. A 10,000 feet tall giant demon appeared from Mo Jiuye's body. His eyes were filled with hostility as he slashed towards Lin Chen's 9-calamity star with a demonic sword. Rumble! The sword slashed the star, and the 9-colored star exploded, instantly drowning Mo Jiuyi. As the 5 9-colored light pillars revolved, the area within 1,000 miles was shrouded in 9-colored light. A faint purple light drifted and released a destructive aura. Lin Chen used super-dimensional teleportation to return to his clone. When he saw an attribute light ball in the void, he immediately knew the result. The active effect of the Supreme God Possession talent is very strong. It can amplify my moves to the extreme. The higher the grade, the stronger the amplification effect. Not to mention my 9 tribulation stars, its power has increased by several levels. This result surprised Lin Chen. Mo Jiuye's combat power was comparable to a Saint level 5. Even if his 9 calamity star could shake a Saint level 5, it shouldn't have such a result. Other than the horrifying consumption of talent points, Supreme God was probably the strongest growth-type talent that Lin Chen had ever obtained. Whoosh! Rip! With a whistling sound, the 9-colored pillar of light was suddenly torn apart and dissipated into thin air. Lin Chen's heart sank. The main character was here. At the center of the 9-colored light pillar, the clear sky sage king's figure appeared. He carried the unconscious Mo Jiuyi, who was covered in blood, with one hand as if he was carrying a piece of merchandise. He frowned. This idiot can't even stall for time. Is it done? Space imprisonment. Lin Chen calmly activated the Elixir Region's Elder's Seal. As expected, there was no reaction at all. Lin Chen's clone and the Divine Dragon moved closer to his main body. Lin Chen's battle intent rose, and he was ready to fight again. The Myriad Treasure's secret realm had been completely cut off from the outside world. It was completely isolated. If he wanted to leave, he would have to force his way out from the inside. The Clear Sky Sage King threw Mo Jiuyi into his Providence plant pouch and smiled with his pale face. How dare you mess with my backup body like this? Lin Chen, even if the old guys from the Elixir region come, they won't be able to save you. Bang! The clear sky sage king stepped on the void and charged toward Lin Chen. Song Ilian's expression changed. The two demon kings who wanted to break through the encirclement were attacked by the other party. They didn't even have a chance. Lin Chen put on the Ares vambrace at lightning speed. Chapter 1302. Elixir Region, Heaven, Earth and Man Pavilions. There's a change in the spaceplane. What's going on? Someone has broken into the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. It's the Clear Sky Holy King. This is bad. Although the Myriad Treasure's secret realm's defense is strong, it's not enough to deal with a Holy King. Many elders and alchemy grandmasters who participated in the competition were shocked. If the Myriad Treasure's secret realm was destroyed, it would be a loss for all of them. Not to mention that Song Ilian and Lin Chen were inside. Any death or injury would be a great loss to the alchemy world. A ray of holy light shone on the Heaven, Earth, and Man pavilions, and 3 elders walked out. They were the 2 elders from before, and the last one was an old man in green. He was the head of the Elders Guild. "Senior, what's the situation inside?" Zi Yunqing asked anxiously. The head in green said calmly. "When a holy king attacks, even a wisp of his spiritual will can suppress an ancient existence." Although the head in green looked calm, there was a trace of unconcealable shock in his eyes. He removed all the spatial restrictions in the Myriad Treasure's secret realm and used them to his advantage. It has become a completely separated and independent spatial realm. Now it's a boundless void. If we want to forcefully open it from the outside, we'll have to destroy the Myriad Treasure's secret realm. However, there's a high chance that the people inside will die. Everyone's heart sank. Wasn't this hopeless? A holy king's spiritual will and 4 demon kings. Unless all the elders present were present, there was no way they could protect Lin Chen. The Clear Sky Holy King is determined to kill Lin Chen. He can refine a 6th-grade divine pill at such a young age. In the future, he might really become a threat to a holy king. It's not unreasonable for a holy king to want to kill him. Nonsense. Hurry up and think of a way to save him. The head in green looked into the distance and said seriously, "I've already sent a message to the 2 supreme elders. I just don't know if Song Ilian can protect Lin Chen until the supreme elders arrive." Myriad Treasure's secret realm. Song Ilian's heart sank as she failed to break out. Fighting and alchemy were 2 different things. How could Lin Chen be a match for a holy king's spiritual will? Although Scarlet Fairy was fully engaged in the battle, her attention was also on Lin Chen. Boom! Clear Sky Saint King stepped on a bolt of lightning and clenched his fist. In the instant that Lin Chen donned the war god bracers, a blinding golden light illuminated the entire plane. Bursts of invincible might surged forth, and Lin Chen's dragon power surged violently. 500 billion dragon power points, 100 billion dragon power points, 150 billion dragon power points. His strength had already surpassed the strength he had displayed during the battle against Lin Xingchen. 8 trillion dragon power points. And it didn't stop. Unstoppable. Golden light sprinkled all over Lin Chen's body. His eyes were like that of a god descending into the world, looking down on all the worlds with undefeatable battle prowess. Lin Chen suddenly swung his fist, and the world spun as he faced the Clear Sky Saint King head-on. TSK. Bang. Energy fluctuations that could topple heaven and earth exploded between the 2 of them. Golden divine light illuminated heaven and earth, and the entire existential plane was trembling. If the treasures in the Myriad Treasure's secret domain were not protected by spatial barriers, the Pill Region's Elder Assembly would have suffered heavy losses. What? Song Ilian's heart trembled slightly. Lin Chen could actually unleash such powerful strength? She had been in seclusion all year round to cultivate medicine and did not know about the various legends about Lin Chen, let alone the recent events in the Realm Tower. When the remaining demonic chi dissipated, the clear sky Saint King shook his palm and frowned. 3 trillion dragon power points, directly surpassing the strength of 2 supremes. This brat still held back the last time? On the other side, Lin Chen's figure retreated rapidly. When he stabilized himself, he could not help but let out a long breath. This old fox indeed came prepared. 3 trillion dragon power points could only push him back a little. Dongfang Wuji, who was possessed by the clear sky Saint King, naturally could not fight with Lin Chen. He purely relied on his mental strength and strange demon race cultivation to fight with Lin Chen. The last time he fought with Lin Xingchen, the highest he could unleash was 200 billion dragon power points. This time, it had already exceeded the full power of the previous attack, but the clear sky Saint King did not seem to be at a disadvantage. You are indeed a disaster. If I keep you alive, you will definitely go against my plans in the future. If I can't get your physical body, you can die here. The clear sky Saint King's palm flashed, and a divine pill surrounded by boundless dragon power appeared. He swallowed it in one gulp. Rumble! Mysterious light flowed around his body, and yin and yang dragon chi surrounded him, as if he was reborn. The clear sky Saint King's vitality suddenly surged. It was the divine pill that he had refined during the Heaven's Choice Convention. He did not expect him to have such a trump card. The clear sky Saint King's body flashed, and he moved even faster. Little brat, it's your turn to perform. Lin Chen shouted, and his aura did not decrease. He waved his golden fist and violently punched the void where the clear sky Saint King was. Rumble! 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 Lin Chen waved his fists continuously, and the wind from his fists was overwhelming. The clear sky Saint King pointed his finger, and the demonic chi turned into demonic dragons that roared and clashed with the wind from his fists. As the two of them fought, every move made the entire myriad treasure's secret realm tremble. The clear sky Saint King's shoulders shook, and 4 pairs of black wings appeared. With a slight flap, he flashed thousands of miles away. His 5 fingers were filled with killing intent. When the clear sky Saint King moved through the void, his palm was filled with demonic chi, and it slammed down on Lin Chen's head. Rumble! The wind from his palm slammed down, and it swept across the entire area. It was like a black hole of demonic chi, and it crushed Lin Chen into pieces. However, it was just an afterimage. Impossible, he can actually keep up with my speed. My Heavenly Demon 9 Wings is a mid-orange grade movement technique. Even if I use demonic chi to activate it, it is not something that a junior like him can dodge. The clear sky Saint King immediately looked around the entire myriad treasure's secret realm. The next moment, his pupils shrank. On the east side of the secret realm, the young man with blood flowing out of his mouth flapped a pair of purplish-black wings that were more than 100 feet long. Demonic chi rose, and dragon chi surrounded him. What was even more mysterious was that the wings opened a pair of eyes as if they were alive, and they stared at the clear sky Saint King. Innate dark shadow? Demon race? No. What is this thing? The clear sky Saint King was shocked again. This young man had so many secrets that even he, a Saint King, had never seen before. He had studied the demon race's secret technique, and his judgment was far better than a normal saint. He could tell at a glance that this dark shadow had an unknown life force. The clear sky Saint King activated his Heavenly Demon 9 Wings again, and it turned into a flash of black lightning. My strength is not enough. I need to be stronger. Lin Chen's god of war Vambrace shone with a golden light again, and his aura suddenly became stronger. In the next moment, Lin Chen punched the air in front of him, and his dragon power increased rapidly. It had reached 5 trillion dragon power, and his punch could shatter the Milky Way. Chi! Bam! 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 The two of them instantly engaged in a fierce battle, and their speed was so fast that they were like two bolts of lightning fighting in the myriad treasure's secret realm. In an instant they were thousands of miles away. Every time the two of them collided, they would create a shock wave that could shatter space. It was as if even light could not escape from it. Song Ilian's jaw almost dropped. Lin Chun was actually on par with a Saint King? His combat strength was not any weaker than hers. It was even stronger than hers. How could it be described as fighting someone of a higher cultivation level than him? He had completely surpassed a few cultivation levels. How many more secrets does this young man have? Could it be that the alchemy that he revealed in the Heaven's Choice Convention was just the tip of the iceberg? You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.